Today, modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't, but let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is SET and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor. Yo, and we are live. Yo, this is SET with SET Media, guys, and I'm back with another one. All right, guys, we're about to get into this Charlie Kirk memorial, and it was a good one, but let's get right into it. And once again, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna start off with we'll start off with one of the speakers, Benny Johnson.
One of many. Fight for Charlie Kirk. Who feels the Holy Spirit in the house tonight? Who can feel that revival happening right now? How does it always work? What man intends for evil, God intends for good. Evil thought that there would be a funeral today. God has created a revival right here in this house right now. Charlie always had that revival energy, didn't he? When Charlie first met me, I was a degenerate loser. I'm still a loser, but I was addicted to alcohol. I had no wife, I had no kids, I had nothing going for me. After 10 years of work with Charlie Kirk, after his witnessing to my life, I have become a Christ-centered man. I am happily married to the woman of my dreams, sitting right there with our youngest son, who just turned 8 today, 8 months. And he's wearing ducks for Charlie's beloved Oregon Ducks today. That's baby Whitaker in honor of Charlie. All of you had a Charlie moment in your life, didn't you? Raise your hand if Charlie Kirk centered you a little closer to Christ. Did Charlie help you achieve your American dream a little bit more? Did Charlie have that effect? Look at every single hand. Stand up. Say amen if Charlie Kirk had that effect on your life. Look at this. 100,000 Americans, millions watching online, standing up and saying that is the revival spirit of Charlie Kirk's life. And that is the power of martyrdom. Because Charlie Kirk is a martyr in the true Christian tradition. If you take out a tyrant, his power goes away. you cut down a martyr, his power grows. And that's
And guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen, like the video. Like I said, we're just going to go over the, I guess, most important speakers. No shade to all of the speakers, but we're going to go to the key ones. And let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video.
we see time and time again. We're seeing it across this country.
Okay, hold on now.
Who's seen the full churches, the full parking lots? Who knows somebody now who's a Satanist or an agnostic, who's now looking at Charlie's life in this revival moment in our country and going, maybe I got it all wrong. Maybe I do need to Christ center my life. This is what Charlie always wanted. This is how he wanted to be remembered. In the mold of Stephen, the first martyr, Stephen was killed for speaking the truth about Christ, much like Charlie Kirk. The martyr Stephen was the same age as Charlie Kirk when he was martyred. At that time, Christianity was just a few very scared Christians in Jerusalem. And after Stephen's martyrdom, Christianity spread throughout the known world. The power of martyrdom. This is how God and Christ always advances his kingdom, and he's doing it right now with Charlie Kirk. It is a wonderful thing to see. We were all witness to a miracle. Charlie's life was a miracle. We could all see it. Those who worked up close and those who watched from far away. We got to witness a miracle in Charlie's life. Someone who was there that day when Stephen was martyred was Saul. Saul was the one who was taking the garments so that Stephen could be killed. And through Stephen's martyrdom, the Apostle Paul was reached by Christ to go out and write the majority of the New Testament. There was no one who was irredeemable. And that is what Charlie would have wanted us to know about his faith in Jesus Christ. The power of Christ's blood and the power of martyrdom speaks through Charlie. The Apostle Paul would go on to write the book of Romans. And I'd just like to close with this. In Romans 13, the Apostle Paul talks about a godly government instituted by our Lord and Savior. And what does he describe? The Apostle Paul describes how God establishes the rulers of the nations. In the audience right now, there are rulers of our land. Represented right here is the State Department, the Department of War, the Department of Justice, the Chief Executive. God has instituted them. God has given them power over our nation and our land. God saved our president, President Trump, from an...
And I love the message that he's preaching on. Now, I truly wish it didn't have to be a martyr. I wish the man was able to live out his life and further spread his message. But yeah, the martyr of Charlie Kirk is definitely going to spread his message. He's already had people, honestly, he got people who are Christian taking the Bible more seriously. He got people who weren't Christian looking into Christianity. And then they got people on the line who are turning into Christians. I mean, the man was damn near a political activist and a pastor all in one.
Assassin's bullet.
Well, and business owner.
For this moment.
Oh, and shout out to my man Daniel Castro. He said, F around and find out. Only warning I'm giving, not today. So yeah, trolls, yeah, you're gonna have to chill because...
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.
And what does the Apostle Paul in Romans say about a godly leadership? He says that rulers wield the sword for the protection of good men and for the terror of evil men. May we pray that our rulers here, rightfully instituted and given power by our God, wield the sword for the terror of evil men in our nation, in Charlie's memory. I want to live in a country where the evil are terrified and where the good and the faithful and the moral people of our nation can live in peace, debate in peace, disagree in peace, and start families in peace.
And that's all that man wanted to do.
And so we want to thank the administration for being here and carrying out that godly mission of wielding the sword against evil. In conclusion, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this to all of the young men in the audience, and I can see so many young men out there. Charlie really reached young men and women, but this is the advice that Charlie gave me. Center your life on Christ. Fall in love. Get married. Have 1 million kids. And live out your American dream. And by doing that, we can create millions and millions and millions of Charlie Kirks. And we can save our land. That will be our turning point. God bless you. And God bless Charlie Kirk. He's looking down on us, smiling from heaven. God bless you. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys.
Please welcome to the stage Dr. Ben Carson.
That's going to catch the whole world in us at Turning Point USA. There's no money, unlimited energy, enthusiasm, and I actually thought this was possible, which was kind of crazy if you think about it. Bill was one of the first people to believe in us at Turning Point USA and believe in me. After he heard me speak, he said, "You can't go to college." I said, "Who are you exactly?" He said, "Whatever you're doing, it's going to be bigger." He said, "You're going to start a youth organization that's going to catch the whole world on fire."
Only in America can a young man with a dream change the world.
So starting in that garage in Lamont, Illinois, that Bill had for us at 217.5 Illinois Street, and growing from that forward was a battle. So the first year, you raised $20,000, which at the time was an unbelievable amount of money, right? We didn't have an office. We didn't have a staff. It was just me just traveling the country doing this pure grit, pure energy. And I was driven by core ideas and core principles that we should be thankful, not angry, to live in this country. Would you agree? We should be thankful. We should be kissing the ground and saying we are the luckiest human beings ever to exist, that we are able to live in this country. At this time, America is the greatest country ever to exist, period, bar none, is the greatest country ever to exist, right?
He loved debate because he loved the truth, and the people on the other side of the table, because they all were made in God's image.
So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We all live in error. We as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God. I have the greatest job in the world. I couldn't be happier. Every day I feel as if what I'm saying, what I'm doing is making a difference. To be perfectly honest, I love the debate. I love the exploration of ideas. I think dialogue is a gift given to us by God. Prove me wrong. I have no notes. I have no AI. I have nothing. Tell me why you're correct. For 3 hours, I will sit there and everyone will watch. It's a gladiatorial match for the best.
Man, I mean, bro, his debates look like honestly like a music concert. Like you literally thought your favorite artist was coming to perform, but no, it was just Charlie Kirk debating people. And everybody cheering like at this man's cheering every time this man destroys a lib. He literally turned the debate platform almost into I ain't gonna lie, he almost turned it into like a music celebration. I'm gonna be real with you. Instead of music, we got debate, we got words, and we got civil debate. It wasn't even like a shit show. It wasn't even just the left calling them Nazis and him calling them, I don't know, baby killers and all that. No, he kept it civil with them. He tried to have a civil debate most of the time. And sometimes it didn't work out, sometimes it did, but at least he went out there to the front line to do so. And it's sad that that's how he died, doing what a lot of people were afraid to do.
Ideas of the West.
And their needs.
Oh, and shout out Misfit Supervisor. She said, God bless Charlie Kirk. Ain't that true? All R.I.P. Charlie.
It's changed him, and he changed them.
You see, you're being called upon to be a leader, let's say, that's not merely political. And that's why my understanding of it.
Correct. It's an enormous responsibility. Enormous. I also need to balance, as Christ would say, being as much truth, which of course I'm inclined towards, as love. What is God's plan when I go on a college campus? I just believe I will only tell truth, I will not compromise, and I'll love on the lost.
He was no stranger to threats, to being hated, to being doubted, but he went out anyway. For America, for you.
Turning Point will live longer than me. That's my mission.
He carried his love for the nation in his hand, and in the other, he carried us.
You have worked so hard, and I know a lot of you have seen, obviously, his videos on TikTok and all the stuff he does on campus, but no one gets to see him from my angle except for myself and our children. And the sacrifices that he made this year, he's amazing. I'm very blessed.
And I would not have been able to do any of it without Erica. When it comes to your child, you are tasked to protect them both physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Once you have kids, there is this primal thing that comes into you where if you think you have worked hard before, when you have to go feed a child and provide for a family, you are willing to go to the ends of the earth and push yourself in ways that you never thought possible. And that is your initial and most important task as a father.
Every single person in this building, we owe something to Charlie. He was a joyful warrior for our country. He loved America. He devoted himself tirelessly to making our country a better place. He was a critical part of getting Donald Trump elected as president, getting me elected as vice president. And so much of our success over the last 7 months is due to his efforts, his staffing, his support, and his friendship.
The media said that Turning Point could never run a ground game. They weren't experienced. They didn't know Charlie, right?
You need tremendous talent to do what he's done. Building one of the most powerful youth organizations ever created, Turning Point USA, and I want to thank you, really, Charlie. Incredible job.
I want you to remember
With hundreds of chapters across America and almost every university. Yeah, gotta respect that type of hustle.
Remember that we did not earn this. This is God's mercy on our country.
What he built will endure.
Taking the deep, but sometimes the difficult road is the way that you should configure your life. Getting married and having children is a difficult but deep decision that I hope every single one of you make at some point in your life. Because for every single one of you, there are a couple thousand students that wish they could speak out like you do. And courage is a choice. It takes no skill to be courageous. You might come up to the microphone and say, Charlie, I don't know my talent. I don't know my skill. The cool thing about being courageous is you just have to say, I choose to be courageous. What can I do to save the country? You answer that question every single day because you are doing the work to save this beautiful republic. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
All right. Now that we're all riled up a little bit, let's get into a very powerful speech given by Steve Miller. And let's be real, Steve Miller always does know how to bring the fire to a speech. And probably the most hated conservative, probably one of the most hated conservatives. Like, actually crazy how much they hate this man.
Hello, Turning Point. Hello, Patriots. Hello to our fearless president, Donald J. Trump. And hello to millions of Americans all across this land who are gathered in sadness and sorrow to mourn Charlie Kirk, but also to dedicate ourselves to finishing his mission and achieving victory in his name. The day that Charlie died, the angels wept, but those tears have been turned into fire in our hearts. And that fire burns with a righteous fury that our enemies cannot comprehend or understand. When I see Erica and her strength and her courage, I'm reminded of a famous expression. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength. And the warrior whispers back, I am the storm. Erica is the storm. We are the storm. And our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us. Because we stand for what is good, what is virtuous, what is noble. And to those trying to incite violence against us, those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? Man. You have nothing. You are nothing.
And that's the truth. It does. I mean, let's be real. One of the main reasons why the left celebrated is one off pure jealousy that they would never admit. I mean, name one guy on your side that's going out there to these college campuses and owning conservatives. Oh, you don't have one. But we had Charlie Kirk not only rallying up the conservatives of the youth, but bringing over liberals to the conservative side and not making them full on MAGA, but at least they're like not so hostile towards us. He created a middle ground that you guys couldn't. He was able to persuade people to come on to his side. You guys couldn't do. You could only just stoke hatred in people's hearts and get them to hate their fellow American. It's pretty sad and pathetic, but hey. Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, right?
You are wickedness. You are jealousy. You are envy. You are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing. You can produce nothing. You can create nothing. We are the ones who build. We are the ones who create. We are the ones who lift up humanity. You thought you could kill Charlie Kirk? You have made him immortal. You have immortalized Charlie Kirk. And now millions will carry on his legacy. And we will devote the rest of our lives to finishing the causes for which Charlie gave his last measure of devotion. You cannot defeat us. You cannot slow us. You cannot stop us. You cannot deter us. We will carry Charlie and Erica in our heart every single day and fight that much harder because of what you did to us. You have no idea the dragon you have awakened. You have no idea how determined we will be to save this civilization, to save the West, to save this republic. Because our children are strong, and our grandchildren will be strong, and our children's children's children will be strong. Mm-hmm. And what will you leave behind?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Damn thing.
To our enemies, you have nothing to give.
And y'all have lost voters. You've lost, I mean, trust me, you've lost most of y'all community. You definitely lost a huge chunk of the black community. But then here's the thing, though, and this is how we know how insecure you guys are. When somebody who's in the black community is honestly, let's be real, showing his respect to a conservative, you guys got to bring up race. You guys got to say, oh, they never appreciated you. Oh, they don't want you over there. What is Officer Tatum doing over there then? I mean, there's a lot of black conservatives, and then you guys sit there and say, oh, they don't do nothing for you. But here's the thing, though. There's a lot of black conservatives who are political pundits who got good numbers. But hold on, though. Let's take a look over to the liberal side. And I see a whole bunch of white dudes and white girls across the board trying to tell me about how oppressed I am. Like, are you serious? Like, honestly, the Democrat side is the most racist. They just capitulate to y'all and tell y'all what y'all want to hear, but don't do nothing for y'all.
Strength. We built the world that we inhabit now, generation by generation, and we will defend this world. We will defend goodness. We will defend light. We will defend virtue. You cannot terrify us. You cannot frighten us. You cannot threaten us, because we are on the side of goodness. We are on the side of God. And to my friend Charlie.
One thing I always respect about conservatives is that they don't got to use shame to convince you. Like when you liberals come over here and say, "Oh, you're black," what do you think? I mean, you think shame is going to convince anybody? Like, really, you have to use negative emotions to try to pull somebody onto your side. You have to like be negative towards somebody to pull them onto your side, and you wonder why you lost the election. You wonder why you lost 2 million plus votes. Like, that's why.
To my brother Charlie, I know you are looking at us right now. I know you're watching Erica right now. I know you're watching your children right now. And I promise you, my friend, I promise you, my brother, we will prove worthy of your sacrifice. We will prove worthy of your time on earth. We will make you proud. We will finish the job. We will defeat the forces of darkness and evil, and we will stand every day for what is true, what is beautiful, what is good, and we will achieve victory for our children, for our families, for our civilization, and for every patriot who stands with us. God bless you. God bless Turning Point. God bless Erica. God bless the Kirk family. God bless our heroes. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
All right, now let's get over to our guy, Tucker Carlson, after Susie Wilds. But yeah, let's go over to Tucker Carlson. You know, I'm kind of going over to the people who are truly close to Charlie Kirk, to be quite honest with you. So let's get over to our guy, Tucker Carlson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson.
Oh, that made me emotional. Made me emotional to see that. Susie Wiles had tears in her eyes, which you don't often see in politics, but it's real. This is the most unbelievable thing I think I've ever seen. And whatever happens next in America, I hope it's in this direction, because God is here and you can feel it. And Charlie would have loved this, not just because he loved large groups of people, but because ultimately he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say,
when he's making honestly, the brainwashed liberals on college campus, when you make these guys go in front of the mic and make themselves look stupid, and then he put it all on TikTok for billions of people, about 1 billion people to see, what do you expect? I mean, here's the problem, though. The Dems can replicate it. Yes, the liberals, the left, y'all couldn't replicate what Charlie Kirk was doing. Charlie Kirk was going out there in front of y'all faces and making y'all look dumb, stupid, downright retarded. And y'all couldn't replicate it.
Idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Everything is inverted, and the Beatitudes tell it, I think, the most crisply. Everything is sort of the opposite of what you think it's going to be. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. That is true, and you can feel it here. The thing about Charlie's message, I've thought a lot about it, and I'm trying not to be emotional because in addition to everything else, he was a wonderful man and a decent man and one of those rare people you meet who you just groove with in conversation and have these very intense conversations that you don't stop thinking about, which is my experience with him. But the main thing about Charlie and his message, he was bringing the gospel to the country. He was doing the thing that the people in charge.
I mean, yeah, he was bringing debate to liberals. And here's the thing, though, and it's kind of, he kind of exposed how the Democrats at the top don't like to do debate. Here's the thing, and he figured that out. Like, he tried to invite Van Jones and other guys on CNN on, and they never wanted to debate. The high up Democrats, they kind of just look down on, well, all conservatives. But here's the thing, though, the ones that they brainwashed actually go out there and debate Charlie Kirk. And shout out to you liberals that did, because honestly, you expose how much hypocrisy they fed you, how brainwashed you are, and how little you guys honestly know. Like, to be honest, a lot of you hate Charlie Kirk off of 30, 45-second clips. You don't even know the full context of the conversation, but you think you know the man. Y'all did the same thing with Trump and was wrong. Now you're about to do the same thing with Charlie Kirk, and then you're using it to rationalize his death. That's even more sick. I mean, if you're going to make those type of statements, I would hope you would look at the conversation in full context and make sure you're not looking stupid.
Hate most, which is calling for them to repent. So how is Charlie's message different? And Charlie was a political person who was deeply interested in coalition building and in getting the right people in office because he knew that vast improvements are possible politically. But he also knew that politics is not the final answer. It can't answer the deepest questions, actually. That the only real solution is Jesus. And the reason, it's really simple. Politics, at its core, is a process of critiquing other people and getting them to change. Christianity, the gospel message, the message of Jesus, begins with repentance. Christianity calls upon you to change. Our core prayer given to us by Jesus, the Lord's Prayer, demands that we forgive other people, but preceding that is a request for our forgiveness. In other words, forgive us our sins, meditate on what we've done wrong, how we've fallen short.
And shout out to my man Castro. He says, make Misfit a pod. Make Misfit a pod mod. Sorry, mod, please, sir. And I got you, bro. You said you need reinforcements. Well, don't worry, Castro. I got you. It's already been done, so don't worry.
And then it becomes possible to forgive other people. That is a call to change our hearts from Jesus. And that is the only way forward in this country. That is the only solution to where we all know we're going. And Charlie knew where we were going without that. And that is not a call for being politically passive. Of course not. I stood in many stages with Charlie calling for various people to be elected, particularly Donald Trump. And I'm proud of that. It's only an acknowledgement that what Charlie was really saying is that change begins, the only change that matters, when we repent of our sins. Me. A recognition that the real problem is me and how fallen I am. And that was the reason that Charlie was fearless at all times, truly fearless to his last moment. He was unafraid. He was not defensive, and there was no hate in his heart. I know that because I've got a little hate compartment in my heart, and I would often express that to Charlie about various people, and he would always say, that's a sad person, that's a broken person, that's a person who needs help, that's a person who needs Jesus. He said that in private because he meant it. So I guess I would just say this gathering and God's presence, God's very obvious presence in this room, the presence of Jesus, is a reminder.
I mean, let's be honest. You can't really show me any clips of Charlie Kirk ever berating a liberal. Never. I mean, even when he was on the whatever podcast where they was low-key saying some wild things to him, he still kept it respectful. I mean, find me one clip of Charlie Kirk just berating a liberal. Like, let's keep it real. You can't. I mean, we can give you all the clips in the world of your, guys like Destiny, Hassan. We can give you clips of them all day berating us. And I mean, that's what you guys usually watch them for. Not really for the facts, but I guess for that entertainment or the political, the political entertainment of it, of just berating conservatives. But that wasn't Charlie Kirk's game. And y'all know that. Y'all do. And the thing is, y'all think that Charlie Kirk was our destiny. And trust me, that's just you guys. That's just you. We don't want y'all to be scared to express y'all opinions. Destiny made it quite clear that he wants us to be scared. We want you guys. We want to debate you guys. You guys don't want us to debate. You want us to apologize. You want us to be subservient to how you want America to be ran. And that's about as fascist than a motherfucker. And you call us the fascists.
Reminder of what we've known for 2,000 years, which is any attempt to extinguish the light causes it to burn brighter. Every single time. So as we proceed into whatever comes next, and clearly something's coming next, remember this moment. Remember being in a room with the Holy Spirit humming like a tuning fork. This is the way. Right here. This is the way. And that is what Charlie Kirk was saying underneath it all. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, here. Against one of Trump's top officials, Rubio.
And try to...
Whoop. And all right, guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support, by the way, but let's remember to double tap that screen.
About maybe 10 or 12 years ago, a person I knew very well, had been very helpful to me in my campaigns when I was in the Senate, came to me and said she had met this very impressive young man. And he was going to start this group to go on college campuses and try to convince young Americans that ours is the greatest country in the history of the world and that Marxism was bad. And I remember thinking back then, I'm going to admit to you guys, I was a little skeptical. I said, college campuses, you're going to do that? Why don't you start somewhere easier, like, for example, communist Cuba, But my skepticism was proven wrong. In place after place over the last 12, 14, 16 years, we've seen this renaissance. Understand where we were at that time in our history. Understand where we are still today in many places, where young Americans are actively told that everything that they were taught, that all the foundations that made our society and our civilization so grand, they were all wrong, they were all evil, that marriage is oppressive, that children are a burden, that America is a source of evil, not of good in the world. And here was this voice that inspired a movement in which young Americans were told that is not true. The highest calling we are called to is to be in a successful marriage and to raise productive children.
Mm-hmm.
And a movement.
Yep, being families, have children, and that's what we should, promote the American people to do. Not just, letting a whole bunch of immigrants to replace us, but let's replace ourselves.
That taught them that ours was not a great country, but the greatest, most exceptional nation that has ever existed in the history of all of mankind. And that it's worth fighting for, it's worth defending, it's worth preserving, and it's worth passing on to the next generation. This was the mission and the work of Charlie Kirk. And a couple things that stand out about him. He led this movement, but he did so with incredible knowledge. It's unbelievable how much he knew. He came to me very recently. He said some quote. I said, who said that? He said, Marcus Aurelius. I said, what district does he represent? I kind of knew who it was, but he said back, no, it's a Roman, philosopher king or emperor. His incredible knowledge. Let me tell you that one of the last messages I had with him was just a few days before his passing, where he wrote me from overseas, I'm in South Korea. I have many concerns I want to share with you when I get back. He was constantly expanding his horizons, but he just didn't have knowledge. He had wisdom, an uncanny amount of wisdom for a man as young as he was. Wisdom that sometimes it takes a lifetime to accumulate. He had it in just 31 years. He was also bold. It is so easy. And listen, I've been guilty of it. I think many of us have been guilty of this. You hide behind the walls and you surround yourself with people that agree with you. We do it as a society all the time. Increasingly, people are moving into neighborhoods with other people that agree with them politically and isolate themselves from people that do not agree with them. But Charlie Kirk was bold. He actively sought out to engage peacefully, respectfully, those who he disagreed with. As recently as 2 days ago, we learned of one of the hosts on CNN who said that one of the messages he had gotten just a few days before Charlie's passing was from him, inviting him to dialogue.
Yep.
He did this on campuses.
Van Jones. I showed the video yesterday. He came out and said, yo, Charlie Kirk was actually a respectful dude. He sent me a real courteous message. He said, dog, I would like to have you on the show. We can debate this whole subway stabbing and we can have a respectful conversation. It's like, to be honest, like the hateful person you tried to paint him as it just doesn't match up. It doesn't even match up to what the libs are saying. Remember, these are the guys that got you to believe this about Charlie Kirk, and they're not even saying that. Think about that, by the way. Think about it.
He did this on podcasts. He did this on radio shows. He did this on television shows. Time and again, he sought to engage those he disagreed with because he understood that we were not created to isolate ourselves from one another, but to engage. The irony in all this is that what our nation needs, one of the many things it needs, is the ability to discuss our differences openly, honestly, peacefully, respectfully. And Charlie Kirk did that more than anyone alive in America today is doing. And Charlie Kirk was impactful. Impactful because of all the things I've said, but look around this place. There's 100-something thousand people here. The president of the United States is here. His entire cabinet is here. Television outlets and media outlets from all over the world are covering this. I just came from overseas, and every country I stopped, they gave us their condolences for his passing. Impactful in just 31 years of life. He made a difference. He mattered, and he will matter now more than he ever has before. And let me close with this. How do you remember? This is a memorial service. It's to honor him. How do you best remember it? I'll take the liberty of saying what I think we can best do. Look, I think he had a tremendous impact on young Americans in general. I think he had a very special and direct impact on young men in this country. That's one of the greatest developments I've seen. It's been very positive. I think we remember him for that. I think we remember him for constantly saying, you want to live a productive life, get married, start a family, love your country. These are powerful messages. But I hope many who are watching, I imagine there are people watching here tonight that didn't know much about Charlie Kirk until 11 days ago. Maybe they were disengaged from politics. Maybe they were partially engaged. I hope one of the things they take from this is that the movement Charlie Kirk led and started and gave.
And here's the thing, you can disagree with Charlie Kirk all you want, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to hate this man, at least hate him for a good reason. Or if you're going to disagree with him, at least disagree with him and understand him in full context. Like, for the guys who think they know Charlie Kirk and what he said, I would advise you guys to go look him up. Go out there and listen to him in long form. Not no 30, 45-second clip. I want you to listen to this man for at least an hour. Be fair about your assessment of this man instead of just going off the 30-second clip your friend sent you because he hates Charlie Kirk too. Like, you guys got to stop going off of other people's opinions. You guys got to start learning how to think for yourself.
Too was about politics, but not only about politics. It was deeper. It was broader. And I would say that taking the liberty, but I'm confident he would agree, one of the things he wants us to take away from this, from all of this, is the following. His deep belief that we were all created, every single one of us, before the beginning of time, by the hands of the God of the universe, an all-powerful God who loved us and created us for the purpose of living with him in eternity. But then sin entered the world and separated us from our Creator. And so God took on the form of a man and came down and lived among us. And he suffered like men. And he died like a man. But on the third day, he rose unlike any mortal man. And to prove any doubters wrong, he ate with his disciples so they could see, and they touched his wounds. He didn't rise as a ghost or as a spirit, but as flesh. And then he rose to the heaven, but he promised he would return, and he will. And when he returns, because he took on that death, because he carried that cross, we were freed from the sin that separated us from him. And when he returns, there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we will all be together, and we are going to have a great reunion there again with Charlie and all the people we love. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, he turned up for that. All right, let's get into our guy, Don
When
Jr.
Charlie was asked in an interview how he'd want to be remembered, he said, "I want to be remembered for my courage, for my faith." And let me tell you guys, those were not empty.
Trust me, he's going to be remembered for his faith, for sure. Definitely his courage, but for sure his faith, because a lot of his arguments was based in, well, his faith. And of course, he did mix in a bit. He did also work with the truth, especially when it came to abortion. Like his whole abortion argument, in a way, was faith-based. And then, of course, backing up, if the fetus feels pain or if it's actually a human or not, backing that up with the science and all that good stuff. But it was a whole lot of faith-based arguments, and that's fine. You can disagree with it, but there's no need to call the man a bigot. And here's the problem. He wasn't a bigot. Now, he's made some arguments even I've disagreed with. But here's the thing. You can disagree with a man and not have to hate him. And here's also the thing. Just because he says something truthful, but it puts the black community in a bad light, doesn't mean he hates black people. I would think we would mature past that by now.
Words. Last week, Charlie joined a long line of courageous men and women who were martyred for what they believe. According to the book of Acts, the first martyr in the early Christian church was Stephen, who was stoned to death. And as Stephen was being killed, he said, "Behold, I see the heavens opened and the Son of Man standing.
And shout out La Raptor Azul. He says they don't care about Charlie Kirk or his values. Well, shoot, the left don't, but I'll tell you this right now. A lot of young men did, a lot of conservatives did. And even here's the crazier part. There are liberals who are also Christian as well, and they like Charlie Kirk. Like I said, they may not agree with him on everything, but, they like their own. So you can't sit here and say the man was just completely hated on by the left. No, it's only your radical leftists who never heard this man in long form, who don't know the full conversation or the full context, who hates this man. And that's a sad reality. They don't know his values, and they think his values is what? White supremacy. When this man has literally argued against white supremacists.
At the right hand.
I don't know that, though, because you don't really actually watch the man.
Of God. Now, there are many times in the Bible where Jesus is seated at the right hand of God, but this is the only time he's seen standing. And while the Bible isn't explicit about this, I like to think Jesus was standing to welcome Stephen, the courageous martyr, into heaven. And today that gives me great comfort, because 11 days ago, as a cowardly assassin crawled on his stomach to end Charlie's life on earth, I'm betting Charlie saw the Son of God standing tall to welcome him home. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the greatest treasures of Charlie's heart: his beautiful wife, Erica, and his two precious children. To watch Charlie with his family, the joy on his face, the devotion in his eyes, was to see the gospel lived out. And for me, it was inspiring. And now, in the face of unthinkable loss, Erica has shown extraordinary courage, not only as a mother, but in stepping forward to carry on Charlie's mission as the CEO of Turning Point USA. Charlie always brought out the best in all of us. When Charlie first said to me during the 2016 campaign, "Hey, let's start doing events on college campuses," I was like, whoa, seriously? Come on, man. We've given up on that. We're going to let those kids grow up, and we'll get them when they start paying taxes.
And here's the thing, though, like a lot of them gave up because, well, what was happening with Steven Crowder? And Steven Crowder said he was like hush hush about it, but he did let some people know that, yo, doing that was dangerous. Like Steven Crowder even said, yo, there was times my car would get vandalized. There was times that people would throw milkshakes at me or concrete milkshake at me. It's like, yeah, it got pretty dangerous for some reason. And I'm not sure why Steven Crowder, he's admitted that he should have been more vocal about this. And I believe as well, because that cop probably could have led to more preventative measures. But yeah, even when Steven Crowder was doing this, he proved that, yo, the left is not good with conversating and they will do whatever to shut you up. And if you look at Steven Crowder's Prove Me Wrong, I mean, every time this man was attacked, who was it by? Well, I'll let y'all fill in that blank.
But he convinced me to give it a shot. And there were a couple events that showed just how brave and courageous Charlie was, even as a very young man. At Michigan State University, 5 minutes before we were supposed to go on stage, the state police told us, and I quote, "We can no longer guarantee your safety." Because the left-wing activists, they were going crazy. It was rough. That sounded like a great reason to pack it up and head out. But it was one of the many times that I would agree with Charlie, who said, "No way, we're going out there anyway." At one of the last events of the 2024 campaign at Arizona State, some lunatic called it a threat to try to keep us from going on the stage. Again, we went out there anyway, without fear. Charlie led the way. His message was clear then, and his message is clear now. We won't back down. We won't be intimidated. The Bible says over 100 times in the pages of Scripture, "Do not be afraid." And the 100,000 people here today are a signal to the world. Our message of faith, family, and country will not be silenced. It always amazes me how Charlie chose to use his platform. He had one of the largest microphones in the entire conservative movement.
Truth.
And what did he do with it? Day after day, week after week, he handed it to the very people who opposed him most.
And shout out Misfit Supervisors. Appreciate the support, sis. She says, super chat your message to be read out loud. And yes, shout out to all the supporters. And like she said, if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support, guys.
The media tried to smear him as some sort of dangerous radical. But Charlie embodied something at the very core of our movement. When people disagree with us, we don't silence them. We don't destroy them, and we certainly don't sink to violence. We don't burn down their businesses
Nope.
We don't scream at their children at Disneyland.
Nope.
No. We debate. We stand tall. And we win with our ideas.
Here's the thing. I hope this never happens to nobody on the left, to be quite honest. I hope no important political figure gets hurt or no Don Lemon gets hurt or anything like that. Because God forbid it happens and it does. I mean, let's be honest. The left is really going to look like a bunch of jackasses because we're going to sit there and we're going to be like, yo, we're not condoning this. We're not going to celebrate it. We're going to mourn the man and his family or the woman and their family. I mean, we do it every time, but for some reason, you can't show us that same grace with Charlie Kirk. And do you honestly think that we don't also vehemently disagree with some of you guys on the left? We just don't think you need to die for it. We don't think you need to be shut up for it. We just think you need to be, well, exposed. We need to make it look stupid. We need to make you wear the dunce hat in public and make you go sit in the corner. That's all we want to do. We don't want you to die. Shoot, we don't even want to hate you.
The true extremists are those who would justify and celebrate taking an innocent life over nothing more than disagreement. That is the real radicalism, and we reject it completely. Charlie delighted in his belief that people could be persuaded. He believed the way to win hearts was with truth, with courage, and with conversation. He would always be the first to say, "You are welcome here." And that's what I want to leave you with today. If we're truly going to honor Charlie properly, his loss cannot be the end of the story. His legacy must be that when they took his life, 1 million more Charlies stepped up to fill the void. We are all Charlie. So let's send a message here today, guys. I want to make sure the world hears us loud and clear. Will you surrender? Will you back down? Will you give up in fear? Good. If you're among the millions of people watching today, please see this and know you are not alone. Charlie's message, like Christ's, was an invitation. If this resonates with you and you believe American values are worth defending, welcome. If you believe in faith, family, and freedom, then you are with us. No matter your past, no matter how you voted, no matter where you come from, this movement is your home. If you're not already seated at this table, we have a seat prepared for you. If you believe in God and family and country, you are one of us.
Yeah, you don't even got to be conservative to believe that. Let's be honest. That's for everybody.
If you believe our government should put the interests of our citizens first, welcome. If you believe American workers deserve dignity and American families should be able to afford a good life on one salary, welcome. If you reject the propaganda of the fake news media, welcome. If you want to eradicate the criminal cartels and get drugs out of our communities, welcome. If you believe our best days are ahead and are willing to stand up to make America great again for your children and for generations to come, welcome. Charlie loved this country, its people, and the work of persuading others to believe in something greater than themselves. And if we live with that same courage, our legacy, like Charlie's, will live forever. Charlie, my brother, we love you, we miss you, and we will not let you down. And as the scripture promises, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord. God bless. Thank you so much.
Now, I do believe JD Vance is up next. So, Vice President JD Vance, I do believe as Trump is also getting ready to speak as well. But yeah, once again, RIP Charlie Kirk. And guys, let's make sure to double tap that screen and like the video. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements you want me to read out loud and engage with, I'll be happy to do so. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States of America, J.D. Vance.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. You know, I can't help but think that they tried to silence my friend Charlie Kirk. They tried to silence our dear friend Charlie Kirk. And today, tonight, we speak with Charlie and for Charlie louder than ever. The evil murderer who took Charlie from us expected us to have a funeral today, and instead, my friends, we have had a revival in celebration of Charlie Kirk and of his Lord Jesus Christ. We gather here in this stadium in the hot Arizona sun, shielded in a great shining city our fathers raised out of the desert. And from this desert, Charlie Kirk built a movement. He transformed the face of conservatism in our own time, and in doing so, he changed the course of American history. To rising generations across this country, Charlie exemplified kindness, courage, and a commitment to open debate. And he was a great debater, and we loved him for it. But Charlie loved debate not because he excelled at it, but because it was the vehicle for bringing the light of truth to dark places. And Charlie Kirk brought many truths in his life. Charlie brought the truth that young people deserved a stake in the future and that they deserved to have a voice. He brought the truth that marriage and family were the highest callings, far more important than any job or educational credential. He brought the truth that our nation would fade unless it brought order to its neighborhoods and prosperity to its people. He brought the truth that life was precious and we must fight to protect it at all stages and at all times. But most of all, Charlie brought the truth that Jesus Christ was the King of Kings and that all truth flowed from this first and most important one. But Charlie, he did so much more than tell the truth, he lived it. Charlie understood that the best evangelization was not in what you said, but in how you lived your life. And in this city, he lived his life well. He raised a wonderful family. He had a beautiful wife, 2 beloved children, and a loving and godly home. In this, he showed us the importance of family. He lived 3 decades he had on this earth with a sense of Christian virtue that would make any man, any person proud. And in this, he showed the importance of following God. He was a kind-hearted man, a hardworking person, and any parent would be proud to have him as a son. In this, he showed the virtue of industriousness. He was present and loving as any child would hope of his or her father. And in this, he showed the importance of strong Christian fatherhood. He was fearless and he was bold as any follower would hope would be true of a leader. And in this, he showed all of us how to carry on after his death. You know, Charlie Kirk, he loved history. He devoured the ideas that formed the foundation of our civilization. He stood for a tradition that Socrates established 2,500 years ago to question, to search, and to teach. He was Athens and Jerusalem, the city of reason and the city of God in one person. But if he loved those places, they were not his home. America was his home, and he was willing to die for it. You know, Charlie, he loved this country with a contagious intensity. Anybody who talked to him knew it and felt it. He knew that America was a beautiful place and we had these incredible ideas, but he also knew that our country was a covenant between the generations past, present, and future. He believed this country's best days were not behind us, but ahead of us. But he knew those better days would have to be earned. They would have to be worked for. We would have to sacrifice and work and tell the truth. He knew that America wouldn't be saved just by pulling together seminars or talking about the right kind of books in front of the right kind of people. The movement which he created demanded more. It demanded courage. It demanded hard work. It demanded building, and it demanded leaders. And my friends, in Charlie Kirk, we found a great American leader. Now, our whole administration is here, but not just because we love Charlie as a friend, even though we did, but because we know we wouldn't be here without him. Charlie built an organization that reshaped the balance of our politics. Turning Point brought millions of young people into conversation with one another, brought millions of people into advocacy. He asked of us, not just that we talk about saving our country, but that we actually go and do it, and we do it together. But even as Charlie built on a grand scale, his greatness was never only in his ambition. It was measured in the everyday moments as well, in the way that he treated ordinary people each and every single day. You know, you learn a lot about someone by how they treat others when the cameras aren't on. Charlie treated staffers as well as he treated the President of the United States. When I was just a guy polling at nothing in my Senate race back in 2021, Charlie helped me. not because I was a future vice president, but because I was a dear friend. I saw just a couple of months ago when a White House staffer struggled with the weight of his job and the responsibilities of new fatherhood. Charlie stopped what he was doing in the hallways of the West Wing and said a prayer for that staffer. Because Charlie believed that we were all children of God, he treated everyone with grace. And that is perhaps the enduring legacy of Charlie Kirk. You know, I was telling somebody backstage that I always felt a little uncomfortable talking about my faith in public, as much as I loved the Lord and as much as it was an important part of my life. I have talked more about Jesus Christ in the past 2 weeks than I have my entire time in public life.
I mean, yeah, that's a great speech.
And that is an undeniable legacy of the great Charlie Kirk. You know, he loved God. And because he loved God, he wanted to understand God's creation and the men and women made in his image. Now, much has been said over the last week about Charlie's ability to approach any topic, any person in good faith, an achievement that was only possible because Charlie knew that we were all children of God. He knew deep down the truth of Scripture. And from that confidence, everything else flowed. That unshakable belief in the gospel led him to see differences in opinion, not as battlefields to conquer, but as way stations in the pursuit of truth. He knew it was right to love others, your neighbor, your interlocutor, your enemy. But he also understood his duty to say what is right and what is wrong, to distinguish what is false from what is true. Charlie was slain, doing what he loved, telling the truth, proclaiming his faith, building out a dream. And now he's gone, and our hearts feel so empty because he's been taken from us. He's been taken from his parents and from his sister. He's been taken from our darling Erica and their beautiful children. And Erica, I know I speak for this entire auditorium when I say that we love you and we will never stop standing by your side, just as Charlie did. He was taken from us by those who despise the virtues that actually made our civilization great to begin with. Dialogue, truth-seeking, family, and faith. In the wake of his death, we have seen some of the very worst parts of humanity. We have watched people slander him. We have watched people justify his murder and celebrate his death. I know that this makes you angry just as it has made me angry. But it is easy in these moments to see only the worst of our fellow man. I found myself wishing that I could pick up the phone and talk to my friend and ask him for his advice and his counsel. To ask him how to respond to—
Oh, and speaking on the whole, the hate in our hearts right now, guys, let's not get consumed by hate. Let's not get consumed by the vitriol we have for the left right now. Let's not get consumed by that. And even though they're trying to antagonize us by making fun of this man's death, let's promise ourselves to never stoop to their level. God forbid this ever happens to anybody on their side. Let's promise right here that we will never stoop to their level, because it's something we don't want to do. Two, we don't want to proliferate the hate in the political sphere already. It's already there. And here's the thing, though. It's like we can't even, like, the Dems are telling us to, oh, you guys need to turn the fire down. And I'm like, you guys are the one that shot. You guys, you're the one who fired a bullet. What? Over somebody talking? Like, tone it down. How? Y'all got to tone down the rhetoric, if anything, because you guys are convincing other liberals and leftists that we're violent people, that we're the people that deserve to be taken out. But here's the thing. We don't promote that hatred in conservatives. Now, I haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you. I don't see guys in the conservative being like, oh, these are guys we need to attack. These are guys who, well, one, they don't tell you that we don't need to listen to you. They want us to listen to you so you can hear how stupid you sound. And two, they don't sit there and try to call you guys like Nazis, monsters, bigots, none of that. Only you guys use that language because you can't win an argument. I mean, just because you don't have a response to an argument, white supremacy or you're a bigot is not a good response.
Such hate and the souls from which that hate springs. But I can't call my friend because he was murdered for speaking the truth. I can only guess at what he might say and what he would encourage me to do. And here's what I think. I think he would encourage me to be honest that evil still walks among us, not to ignore it for the sake of a fake kumbaya moment, but to address it head on and honestly as the sickness that it is.
Yep. I mean, when the left is ready to have that conversation on, yo, you understand that y'all rhetoric, and I'm talking about the political pundits and some of the politicians, y'all rhetoric towards MAGA, towards people on the right, does incite violence. Like, you guys understand this part. Like, even if you don't, then honestly, you're being extremely disingenuous or you are blind to what you're doing. And this Charlie Kirk's death should probably open up some of these guys' eyes. And they need to start telling you, like, all right, guys, look. Maybe we're being facetious. They're not really Nazis, okay, guys? You don't need to go out there and shoot them. They're not really Nazis. That's what the left needs to do. We disagree with them heavily on stuff, but they're not people that are going out there to hurt you. They're not trying to end transgender or put black people back in chains. No, they're not doing that. We kind of fib to y'all a little bit, but we just disagree with them. Like, honestly, yes, the left does need to be accountable for their rhetoric because the problem is people are getting violent about it. And y'all also need to be responsible for, honestly, I would say this, passing off mental health. Yes, for some reason, y'all pass off mental health, people who have bad mental health, as political radicalization. And that's just, bro. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, that's the reason why you guys have high crime cities, is because you ignore mental health and you pass off some political crime, and then you also ignore the gang areas, and then y'all just say, well, you can blame that on white supremacy. And then it'd be a white person that don't want to fix it. I know, right? But all right, shout out to my man Vladstein. He says, remember, Chop or Chaz, they couldn't get Sprouts to pop up. They will starve because they can't produce food, can't eat your iPhone 17 for nourishment. I mean, well, damn. Head off Vladstein.
But I also think he would encourage me, he would encourage all of us to focus on the good. He would encourage us to remember that for every hateful voice celebrating his murder, there are 1,000 people mourning it and fighting for his legacy every single day. He would tell me to pray. I'm certain of it. He would tell me to pray for my friends, but also for my enemies. He would tell me to put on the full armor of God and get back to work. He would tell us to commit ourselves to telling the truth and to fight for that truth each and every single day. He would tell us to talk about God's love and the fact that that love applied everybody across the whole human family. Charlie suffered a terrible fate, my friends. We all know it. We all saw it. But think, it is not the worst fate. It is better to face a gunman than to live your life afraid to speak the truth. It is better to be persecuted for your faith than to deny the kingship of Christ. It is better to die a young man in this world than to sell your soul for an easy life with no purpose, no risk, no love, and no truth. Christ told us in the Gospel of John, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Charlie took heart, and now we must do the same. I've seen so many of you say, so many on social media talk about for Charlie. We must do this for Charlie. For Charlie, we will speak the truth every single day. For Charlie, we will rebuild this United States of America to greatness. For Charlie, we will never shrink, we will never cower, and we will never falter, even when staring down the barrel of a gun. For Charlie, we will remember that it is better to stand on our feet defending the United States of America and defending the truth than it is to die on our knees. My friends, for Charlie, we must remember that he is a hero to the United States of America and he is a martyr for the Christian faith. May our Heavenly Father give us the courage to live as Charlie lived. That is what we must do for Charlie. You ran a good race, my friend. I love you. We've got it from here. Thank you.
All right, guys, now let's get into this quick little Charlie Kirk clip. You know that people want to call him a racist. I like to dispel that lie. I'm sorry, but I just can't let y'all lie about this man acting like y'all know him or acting like he was just spewing hate. So let's get into it. And hey, let it be a black man that tells you.
Okay, y'all got me. I found a video of Charlie Kirk spewing hate and he was being racist towards a black woman. So I got to share it just like how I share everything else.
How are you? What a beautiful kid that is.
Thank you.
What a gift from God.
Much. She truly is. She is the biggest blessing. Something that kind of has me like on the fence of whether or not I go kind of like conservative or moderate. It's just seeing how
Give it up. That is a gift from the Lord, everybody.
I mean, huh?
That was the person y'all said that was racist and hated black people. I don't know about y'all, but you can't turn hate on or off. And a racist person would never call you and your family beautiful.
Facts.
Like, that's who y'all said hated black people. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, the more I go down this rabbit hole,
I mean, a racist wouldn't hit up another black guy and offer a respectful debate. Yeah, racists would never do that, but that's what Charlie Kirk did.
Oh, the more I just get like pissed off all over again, because I just get like the videos of folks celebrating and all of that just come back in my head, and the people who were saying I'm celebrating because he hated black people, I'm celebrating because he was racist to us, and I come across videos like that, and I'm like,
where?
Huh? Like, and I already know somebody gonna say that was just a clip.
I know they gotta lie to make up, bro. They literally have to lie about this man to have an excuse to hate him. Because, and here's the thing, they hate him because they couldn't debate him. There you go. It wasn't about him being racist or anything like that. It had something to do with jealousy and the fact that they couldn't, beat his arguments. They couldn't go against the truth, and that's what he stood on. And then when they can't fight the truth, they try to attack his religion. I mean, they couldn't attack that well either. But here's the thing. Y'all keep trying to say Charlie's just racist and all that because you can't hit the arguments. You try to shame black people out of listening to Charlie Kirk because you can't beat the arguments. And it's sad when you got to sit there and you try to shame black people for being like, oh, you listen to him, oh, he hated you, he would have wanted you in chains. No, he wouldn't. You never listened to him a day in your life. You're just following the rhetoric that the FBA guys are spewing. Like, I'm talking to my black guys here. I mean, I'm more ashamed of you guys. I thought y'all had a little bit more intelligence than to keep being ledly blind by the left. Well, I know a good amount of us do, but the black liberals, bro, y'all need to do better.
You contradicting yourself because this whole time I've been preaching full context. Don't go off clips. And I just went off of a clip of him showing love to a black woman. But the point is, you cannot turn hate in your heart for somebody or for a group that y'all say on or off. If you hate a group, you're going to stand 10 toes on that. And that man showed would have stood 10 toes on something if he actually hated something. But all of a sudden in this situation,
I mean, yeah, like reference Charlie Kirk's hatred to your hatred of us. Like, think about it. You don't want to talk to us. You don't want to debate us. You just want to insult us. So if Charlie Kirk truly hated black people, then where was that vitriol for her right there, that black woman? He debated other black people as well, and he didn't come at them crazy. He didn't call them the N-word. He didn't call them less than, like, 1/4 human. None of that. Nothing even close to that or anywhere in the ballpark of it. So how was he a racist again?
He sees this beautiful family of this mom and kid, and he's gonna call them beautiful and a gift from God. And you trying to sit here and tell me that he hated black people and trying to tell me that he was racist to black people. All right.
Yeah, I know, right? They literally sit there and lie in your face. I wonder if I got another one right here. Let me see. Right here. Here it is. Here it is. Here's Charlie Kirk actually debating an actual racist or an actual white supremacist. Here you go.
So we found a video of Charlie Kirk actually going off on a real racist. Check out this clip.
I want to ask a question of you. What does it mean to be an American? Is it an idea or a history, a shared history, or is it a skin color?
Well, I mean, you could go back to the original founding fathers, the Immigration Act of, I believe it was.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it a skin color or something else?
So there's the current idea of what it means according to, the Hart-Celler Immigration Act and, all this bullshit that you guys spew. But if you go back to the original founding fathers, they intended this to be a European nation for white men of good stock and character.
Can you show me?
That is the white supremacist, and that is the white supremacist plight. That, oh, it was only ever supposed to be white people here. We never supposed to have nobody else here. But I mean, same founding fathers would have one that brought black people here, but they don't like to get into that conversation too much. But shout out to my man Vladstein. He says, if you remove the classes and ownership argument, fascism and communism are the same. Both remove individual rights and have all worked towards a D state. A D state. Work towards a D state. Maybe I think I might be missing what you're saying on that one, but I definitely agree with the first half of what you're saying. So Vladstein, first off, appreciate the support, brother. And second off, what you mean by D state? Deep state. Deep state. Sorry, I was being slow for a second.
Can you show me where in the United States Constitution it says that?
It wasn't in the Constitution.
It wasn't in the Constitution because they didn't believe it.
The founding.
You, sir, they did not put it in the United States. Let me answer another question. Let me ask you another question since you support. Allow him to have the mic. Let me ask you another question, sir.
Fathers wrote many
what
other
does the
documents
phrase,
other than the United
sir,
States Constitution, and they made it
sir,
explicitly clear.
What does the phrase "e pluribus unum" mean? What does the phrase "e pluribus unum" mean?
Why is that relevant?
Because it was on every founding document and presidential seal from our founding, which means out of many, one. You, sir, and your ideology is not conservative. It is right-wing, identitarian. It has no place in the conservative movement, my friend. Get out of line.
That's what I'm saying. There's people who's white first instead of America first. Like, what was it, Thomas Russo, Nick Fuentes? And that's where his argument lands. Is like, those guys are white first. Charlie Kirk, he was truly American first. He didn't really see skin color. He said, bro, it's all about Americans. I don't care about your skin color. It's about you being an American. This guy's over here saying, no, it's about you being American and a white guy or a white woman. Those are the races that you're talking about. And Charlie Kirk debated those guys and pretty much cooked them every time. And let's be real. If he was a real white supremacist, he'd have just let that man keep going. He'd be like, yep, all right, brother. Yep, you are all right, brother. You're for sure. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead and give us that KKK speech real quick. White man, white power, white man only, white first. Let's go. But he didn't. He said, no, bro. That's not what the founding fathers stood on, and we're definitely not going to try to pick it up now. Like, no. We care about all Americans, no matter what their skin tone is. We believe the founding fathers created this country not to be overran by immigrants, but for people who respect the American dream or the American values. I mean, there you go right there. He literally went against our racists.
Get out of line.
There you go.
USA, 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 USA.
Charlie was a great brother, far from racist. He just wanted equality.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, feel blessed that God allowed him to be with us for 31 years.
Man, I mean, let's be real. You literally got a guy who's defending like pretty much a minority, or not minorities, but non-white Americans. He's pretty much defending non-white Americans' place in the American system and in American history. He's defending us, and you guys call him a racist. He's low-key defending us against the people who call us low IQ, who said it's meant to be a white country, white people are better than everybody. He's low-key arguing against those people that you guys hate so much. Man, like I said, y'all don't really know Charlie Kirk. Y'all got Charlie Kirk confused with Nick Fuentes. Y'all got Charlie Kirk confused with Paul Miller. Y'all got Charlie Kirk confused with a white supremacist. All right, let's get back to it. True.
Hello. God bless all of you for coming here from all over the world to honor and celebrate my Charlie. Just a few miles from here, 2 years ago at America Fest 2023, Charlie delivered a speech on stage for our TPUSA faith event. Charlie loves speaking off the cuff. He's very good at that, without a script. So I personally didn't know what he was going to say. And what he chose to speak about that day was his submission to the will of God. He quoted one of his favorite Bible verses, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. Here I am, Lord. Send me. After Charlie finished, I met him backstage and I spoke to him, and I'll never forget this. I said, Charlie, baby, please talk to me next time before you say that statement. Because when you say something like that, there is so much power in that verse. When you say, here I am, Lord, use me, God will take you up on that. And he did with Charlie. "11 days ago, God accepted that total surrender from my husband and then called him to his side. More than anything, Charlie wanted to do not his will, but God's will. And over these past 11 days, through all the pain, never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, thy will be done. God's love was revealed to me on the very day my husband was murdered. On the afternoon of September 10th, I arrived at a Utah hospital to do the unthinkable, to look directly at my husband's murdered body. I saw the wound that ended his life. I felt everything you would expect to feel. I felt shock. I felt horror and a level of heartache that I didn't even know existed. But there was something else too. Even in death, I could see the man that I love. I saw the one single gray hair on the side of his head, which I never told him about. Now he knows. Sorry, baby, I'm telling you now, but never told him. Didn't want to. I also saw this. I also saw on his lips the faintest smile. And that told me something important. It revealed to me a great mercy from God in this tragedy. When I saw that, it told me Charlie didn't suffer. Even the doctor told me. It was something so instant that even if Charlie had been shot in the operating room itself, nothing could have been done. There was no pain, there was no fear, no agony. One moment Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus, fighting for the gospel and truth in front of a big crowd. And then he blinked. He blinked and saw his Savior in paradise. And all the heavenly mysteries were revealed to him. God's love continued to be revealed to me in the days that followed. The next day on the tarmac in Air Force Two, I confronted Usha Vance, precious woman. I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how I am going to get through this. She told me something. She said, you know when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight and things are crazy, kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming. And you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then, but those words were exactly what I needed to hear. But most of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting. We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country: We saw revival.
Bro, what? Oh, yeah.
This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade.
Man.
We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives. Charlie liked to journal. And I say this because he did it to remember important moments and sayings that affected him. And one of the things he wrote in his journal was this. Every time you make a decision, it puts a mark on your soul. To those of you out there who just made that decision and took the first step toward a spiritual life, I say thank you and welcome. One day, I hope you look back and realize it was the most important decision of your life, because it is. All of you who are already believers, it is your job to shepherd these people. Do not take that lightly. Water the seed of their faith. Protect it and help it grow. Every day as Charlie rode into the office, he would go through his contact list. And I know there's many of you who were impacted by this. He would go through his contact list and send Bible verses for the day. He knew that faith was a habit.
That's what my dad does.
The more you live it, the more it grows. But know this too. The seed has only just been planted. The enemy will tempt you the most in a time like this one. God will always be there for you, but you must choose to mark your soul again and again in the direction of Christ. Pray again. Read the Bible again. Go to church next Sunday and the Sunday after that, and break free from the temptations and shackles of this world. Being a follower of Christ is not easy. It's not supposed to be. Jesus said, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. He said he would be persecuted. He said we would be persecuted. And Charlie knew that and happily carried his cross all the way to the end. And I want all of you to know, while Charlie died far too early, he was also ready to die. There was nothing he was putting off. There was nothing that was too hard or too painful, or nothing that he just felt like he didn't want to do it. He left this world without regrets. He did 100% of what he could every day. But I want you to know something. Charlie died with incomplete work, but not with unfinished business. But I will miss him. I will miss him so much because our marriage and our family were beautiful. They still are. The greatest cause in Charlie's life was trying to revive the American family. When he spoke to young people, he was always eager to tell them about God's vision for marriage and how, if they could just dare to live it out, it would enrich every part of their life in the same way that it enriched ours. And someone once asked me how Charlie and I, how we kept our marriage so strong when he was busy traveling. And our little secret, it was love notes. Every Saturday, Charlie wrote one for me, and he never missed a Saturday. And in every single one of them, he'd tell me what his highlight was for the week, how grateful he was for me and our babies. And always at the end, he would always end it with asking the most beautiful question. He'd always end it by asking, please let me know how I can better serve you as a husband. Charlie perfectly understood God's role for a Christian husband, a man who leads so that they can serve. To all the men watching around the world, accept Charlie's challenge and embrace true manhood.
And shout out to Bruce Ego. He says, God bless anyone who strive for good, compassion, and understanding. Rest in peace, Charlie. All you did was defend the sinners. I mean, man.
Be strong and courageous for your families. Love your wives and lead them. Love your children and protect them. Be the spiritual head of your home. But please be a leader worth following. Your wife is not your servant. Your wife is not your employee. Your wife is not your slave. She is your helper. You are not rivals. You are one flesh working together for the glory of God.
Cooking.
I was Charlie's confidant. I was his vault, his closest and most trusted advisor, his best friend. I poured into him and loved him so deeply, empowered him, because his love for me drove me to be a better wife. Every day he honored me, and I prayed that I could be the wife that God needed me to be for my husband. Women, I have a challenge for you too. Be virtuous. Our strength is found in God's design for our role. We are the guardians. We are the encouragers. We are the preservers. Guard your heart. Everything you do flows from it. And if you're a mother, please recognize that is the single most important ministry you have. In our home, because Charlie traveled a lot, we tried to travel with him where we could. But I made sure that when Charlie returned from work, It was his sacred landing place, away from the worries of the world. I didn't make him feel guilty for being away too long or too much, or getting home too late. I always told him, home is here for you.
She's a good one.
And it'll be ready for you.
Mm.
And I made it into this place where he wanted to be as soon as possible when he was on the road.
And shout out to my man Maine. He says Jesus loves you. Set YouTube viewers, all of you. And yep, guys, if any of you remember anything, make sure to know that God and Jesus loves you. Now, I do know Christians, yes, Jesus is God, but for those who are not as Christian, or those who are not Christian but still love Kirk, you know, God and Jesus loves you. Let's be for real. It's the eternal, and it is very sad that somebody who preached nothing but positivity is honestly seeing nothing. Like, she don't deserve it. She don't deserve none of the negative comments that she's been getting, the champion of her husband's death, people damn near thinking that it's funny. It's like, bro, do you not forget that he's a husband and father? Like, did y'all forget that part? Or did you just see him as a political figure? It's like, what type of surface level thinking of a man's life are you doing? Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I would hope you think deeply about hating somebody. I hope you'd be able to relate to somebody like Charlie Kirk, you know, because some of the people who leave hateful language about Charlie Kirk, I'm like, dog, some of you guys are fathers. Some of you guys are husbands. I mean, if somebody was to take you away from your family, then you got some people on the internet championing it. I mean, would you want your family to deal with that? No, of course not. So why are you doing it to theirs?
There was no keeping score between us.
But even in your hatred, Jesus loves you.
We were a team, working together for the same mission. I never wanted to be the one standing between Charlie and the task that God prepared for him, had set for him. And I knew Charlie would always do his best to help me with the same. My marriage with Charlie was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know it was the best thing that ever happened to him as well. He wanted everyone to experience that joy. And that's what's so beautiful about God's design for marriage, is that everyone can. And I could talk endlessly about it, and years to come I will. But Charlie's mission above all was aimed directly at those who aren't married. He named his organization well. He knew things were not right with America, and especially with young people, and they needed a new direction. Charlie passionately wanted to reach and save the lost boys of the West, the young men who feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no faith, and no reason to live. The men wasting their lives on distractions, and the men consumed with resentment, anger, and hate. Charlie wanted to help them. He wanted them to have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man I forgive him.
I mean, it's better than me. Dang. Man. Wow. Couldn't even imagine.
Forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us. The world needs Turning Point USA. It needs a group that will point young people away from the path of misery and sin. It needs something that will lead people away from hell in this world and in the next. It needs young people pointed in the direction of truth and beauty. And so I promise you today, every part of our work will become greater. I am tremendously honored to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
Okay.
I do not take that lightly. Charlie and I were united in purpose. His passion was my passion, and now his mission is my mission. Everything that Turning Point USA built through Charlie's vision and hard work, we will make 10 times greater through the power of his memory. Chapters will grow, thousands of new ones will be created. TPUSA Faith will add thousands of new pastors and congregations. And yes, campus events will continue. And we will continue to hold debates and dialogue. The First Amendment of our Constitution is the most human amendment. We are naturally talking beings, naturally believing beings. And the First Amendment protects our right to do both. No assassin will ever stop us from standing up to defend those rights, ever. Because when you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence. And as I stand here now, and I look at this beautiful photo of my husband in front of me, hanging in the stadium, I think of my husband 13 years ago. I hadn't met him yet. He was 18 years old, a man barely out of high school, running around the halls of the RNC without $1 in his pocket and a single contact in his phone. People who saw him said that he didn't know what he was doing, but he did. He did know what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was going to change the world, and he did.
Charlie's life was a turning point for this country. It was a miracle. Let that miracle that was Charlie's life be your turning point as well. Choose prayer, choose courage, choose beauty, choose adventure, choose family, choose a life of faith. Most importantly, choose Christ. I love you, Charlie, baby. And I will make you proud. God bless you all, and God bless America.
And shout out to Misfit Supervisor. She says, God bless you, Erica. And ain't that the truth? I mean, the fact that she sat there and said, I forgive him. I mean, well, I don't know how else. I don't know what else you could I could say. Man, shoot, besides she better than me. She better than a lot of people. A lot of people would take that hatred to the grave, and I wouldn't be able to blame them for it. But she's trying to let it all go, and I think we should too.
No doubt, I love this land. God bless the USA.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Lee. You've been there from the beginning with us, Lee, and we appreciate it. Nobody can sing that song like Lee Greenwood. Thank you very much, Lee, very much for being here. And his voice has not changed, you know? Pretty amazing. And a special thank you to Erica, because today, America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Less than 2 weeks ago, our country was robbed of one of the brightest lights of our times, a giant of his generation, and above all, a devoted husband, father, son, Christian, and patriot. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth that was in his heart. He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice, for God, country, for reason, and for common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation. And so on that terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest evangelist for American liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for American freedom. I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history. Because while Charlie has been reunited with his creator in heaven, his voice on earth will echo through the generations, and his name will live forever in the eternal chronicle of America's greatest patriots. He will live forever. To Charlie's incredible and beautiful widow, Erica, we know the weight of this monumental loss is almost unbearable. But even in the midst of heartache and pain too great to even fathom, you have somehow found the strength and deep faith to be a comfort to millions and millions of people. And thank you very much, Erica. Thank you very much. Today, an entire nation wraps its loving arms around you and your beautiful children. We share in your immense and overwhelming sorrow, and we vow that we will do everything we can to ensure that your children grow up in a land where their father is honored and revered as a great American hero. That's what he is. To Charlie's parents who lost their beloved son, and to the entire Kirk family, we know that no words can ever be enough to fill the void he leaves behind. That's a void that just can't be filled. But I hope the extraordinary outpouring of emotion over these past 11 days has comforted you with the knowledge that your son brought more good and love into this world in his 31 short years than most people, even very, very successful people, can bring in a lifetime. Charlie Kirk loved America with everything he had. And as we can see so clearly today, America loved Charlie Kirk.
That was our guy, man. That was like my favorite white guy. Like, come on.
And he could always draw a big crowd. Look at this today. Look at what's gone on.
Even in death.
This is a big crowd.
I mean, shout out, because even in death, my man still draws hundreds of thousands of people. All the appreciators of his message.
Here today, we have the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. We have the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson. We have countless members of the United States Senate, and I'm sorry I'm not going to introduce you, but I'll be up here. They're all over the place. And likewise, the House of Representatives, they're all over this big stadium. This is not an arena, this is a stadium. Our great cabinet and this stadium packed with rafters of people, not to mention the one across the street that also has tens of thousands of people. And they're watching us on screen right now. And I'm sorry we couldn't get you in. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please walk across the street. But this is like an old-time revival, isn't it? An old-time revival. For millions of Americans, especially young people, it is agonizing and unthinkable to say goodbye to a patriot whose heart still had so much to give. It's so much. Raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Charlie was filled with a patriotic spirit from his youth, and he was an all-American in everything he did. And one of the last things he said to me is, please, sir, save Chicago. We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago from horrible crime. In high school, he was the quarterback of the football team and the captain of the basketball team. He was a good athlete. A lot of people don't know that about Charlie. He was an Eagle Scout who spent his school lunch breaks listening to another champion for liberty.
Eagle Scout. Huh. Nice.
Somebody that he greatly admired, Rush Limbaugh. But what was even more important to Charlie than politics and service was the choice he made in the 5th grade, which he called the most important decision of his life, to become a Christian and a follower of his Savior, Jesus Christ. Inspired by faith and his love of freedom, Charlie did something remarkable when he was just 18 years old. On the advice of a mentor who told him to put off going to college because he was doing so well, he devoted his life to converting young people to the conservative cause. How did he do? Take a look. How did he do? In 2012, 2 days after graduating high school, and with just $1,800 in his pocket, the young man from Illinois, who no one had ever heard of, started an organization whose grand ambitions were captured in its name, Turning Point USA. Great name.
Mm-hmm. TPUSA.
And I have a feeling it's going to be bigger and better than ever before. Does that make sense? It's going to be bigger and better than ever before. Look at what's happening. 12 years ago, Charlie walked onto his first college campus, the very liberal University of Wisconsin at Madison. He set up a card table and put up a sign with 3 words: "Big government sucks." Can you believe that? That's Charlie. That day, Charlie talked to every student who approached him, most of whom were probably quite a bit older than he was. Finally, after many hours, he found the first ever Turning Point chapter leader. His first year out of high school, Charlie traveled 300 days raising money and taking his message to campuses all over the country. He lived out of his parents' basement, and they actually loved having him there. They loved
Hey, he grinded out of mama's basement.
Charlie.
You gotta love that story.
And on the couches of friends and supporters, he lived off couches for 2 years, 3 years. Then life started getting a little bit different, but he was always the same. For 5 years, he refused to take a paycheck, but day after day, he worked from 5 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. in the evening, always. His staff remembers that he wore Walmart jeans and T-shirts from the Goodwill store. Remember the Goodwill store? It wasn't easy, but Charlie wasn't in it for money at all, never has been. Money was never his thing. He was always in it for the mission. As he liked to say, even back then, we have a country to save. Just what he did. He'd call me all the time, "Sir, we have a country to save." I said, "Charlie, thanks very much for telling me that. I appreciate it." Charlie volunteered for my 2016 campaign and traveled the nation with my son, Don and Eric. I got to know him very well and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people. It was Charlie who first started organizing young Black conservatives hungry for support and leadership. It was Charlie who stood up for persecuted Christians and Jews on college campuses. It was Charlie who helped bring online censorship, free speech, and cancel culture to the fore of our political debate. He was right up there with me. It was Charlie who helped unite MAGA. And you know what MAHA is? That's right, Make America Healthy Again. And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House about autism, how it happens, so we won't let it happen anymore, and how to get at least somewhat better when you have it, so that parents can help their child, their beautiful child. That's a big one. I've been bugging everybody over there, get the answer to that. 20 years ago, 1 in 10,000 were born with autism. 20 years ago. The most recent survey says 1 in 12. How bad is that? That's for young boys, baby boys, but also girls a little bit better. It's about 1 in 20. But we can't, because obviously there was something really wrong, and we think we know what that is. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most important news conferences I'll ever have, and I look so forward to it. And you know who else looked forward to it? Because he knew. I tell him a little bit about what was going on. Was Charlie. He would have been front row center, believe me. We'll be missing him tomorrow. It was such a big deal for him, too. He brought together Donald Trump, Bobby Kennedy, right here in the great state of Arizona 1 year ago. Remember that? What a night, what a day that was. And it was Charlie who was among the first to speak to me about a man from Ohio by the name of J.D. Vance. Have you ever heard of him? He's doing a good job. But Charlie would often call me, sometimes the night before a big event, the other side of the country. And it'd ask me, it'd say, do you think you could come and speak at the event? The following day, right? I'd say, Charlie, I'm the president of the United States. You want me to travel 4 hours by plane? And sometimes I did it. He was a very good guy. He was a very convincing guy. He didn't stop, but he would ask for things like that. Sir, could you be tomorrow in California? I said, Charlie, give me a break, please. He just wouldn't stop. And he succeeded. But I almost always went because you never wanted to let Charlie down. He worked so hard. You just didn't want to let him down. I felt guilty. He'd make me feel very guilty. As president, many people asked me for things, but Charlie was one of the few who always gave more than he took. He was a giver, much more than a taker. And no matter how big
he pretty much handed Trump over the vote of the youth.
Charlie became, no one was too small for him to notice. He was
and that right over
to everybody. Didn't matter. Several years ago, a fourth grader asked Charlie to appear on his podcast, which was probably only watched by the parents of that fourth grader. And Charlie, who was actually pretty hot at the time, to be honest, he agreed, and the boy asked for advice. Charlie replied, the left. I call it the radical left. I call it sometimes the radical left lunatics. But Charlie didn't say that. He called it the left. He was probably right, but I can't help it. I can't help it. So he said the left, radical left lunatics, may have all the money in the world, but they can never outwork me. I will wake up as early as I need to, about himself. I will stay up as late as I need to, and I will never stop fighting for our country. And he did this until his dying breath. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Think of it. Wow. What a horrible moment. I was in the Oval Office when I heard they came in, and I It was like a surreal experience, a terrible, terrible. I had some very big people in the Oval Office, and I was in the midst of a very important conversation for our country, big people, the biggest. And I said, you have to leave now. When they told me that, they told me in front of a group of very powerful people, I said, you have to leave now, right now, please. Right now, you have to leave, go. By his own determination and skill, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point from his humble beginnings, the beginnings that nobody believed could ever end up something like this, into a great movement and a juggernaut of American politics. And, you know, we have a massive stadium loaded up with people, but he got tremendous crowds before he had this kind of horrible news and before we had to hear what happened so terribly. He delivered more than 250 speeches a year at over 200 colleges and universities. And that was at a time when it was not really vogue to go.
And shout out to my man Maine. He says, politicize Charlie. He wanted his message to reach. Ain't that? Now, don't worry. His message is going to reach. Trust me. If you see in Twitter, Facebook, all social media platforms, yeah, his message is starting to reach people. And that's, I guess, one of the few blessings of death. I mean, it kind of works that way for artists is when they die, their catalog becomes more popular than ever. Well, that's about to happen to Kirk. It's going to pretty much be all the people who never really knew about him, all the people who didn't like him, are actually going to look into this man. They're finally going to go ahead and, maybe go to his page, look at a long format, and actually see what he's about. And you know what? It's actually a beautiful thing because in today's time where we can have our great speakers and we have like a record of all of our great speakers and what they said. Well, from, I would say, 1980s till now. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing that we got going on here. But to be quite honest with you, it'd have been better if he was here. Why? Because that man would have been president, man. Gave it 4 years. He would have been president.
The colleges and universities, if you were a
Got to
conservative,
put money
really
on
took
that.
great courage. And we used to talk, and I said, I think they're much more conservative than we know. And he agreed, but it just wasn't something that was happening because the radical left would do very bad things, very dangerous things. But Charlie set up chapters on 2,200 campuses and spoke at more than 1,000 churches. He launched a podcast and radio show that grew to an audience of 1 million Americans a day, one of the bigger shows on radio. And Charlie didn't just bring young people into the movement. All of a sudden, it started to grow by leaps and bounds. By 2024, we won more young people than any Republican candidate in the history of our country, including for the first time, a majority of males under 30. Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Republican presidential candidates would get 4%? No, we did unbelievably with young people. And he was a big, big factor. Unbelievable. But he made me work for it. Sir, you have to make a speech here. You have to make a speech there. But we did it and we won. And our country is doing unbelievably well now. We had a country that was dead 1 year ago, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And Charlie helped us make it that. One of the great people. But through it all, the core of Charlie's message and his basic method never changed. It never really changed. He stayed the same person also. At every campus event, Charlie asked the people who disagreed with him to come forward, and instead of silencing them, he handed them a microphone and let them speak. And he'd convinced so many of them. It was a pretty amazing thing to watch, actually. Shortly before Charlie arrived on campus, the day he was assassinated, a staff member texted him that there were many critics and students who were opposed to his views and rather strenuously in the crowd. And that actually made him feel good because he wanted to convince them. He understood. He really did. He understood what was right. And he was right about that. A lot of it was based on common sense, by the way. Charlie wrote back to the staff member saying, I'm not here to fight them. I want to know them and love them, and I want to reach them and try and lead them into a great way of life in our country. In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But now Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Well, considering that they insulted every member of your family, try to throw you and your kids in jail, and made up countless lies about you, yeah, I can understand where the animosity's at. I get it, Trump. But for Kirk, I mean, let's be real. They didn't do all that to the man.
Charlie's angry. Looking down, he's angry at me now. He wasn't interested in demonizing anyone. He was interested in persuading everyone to the ideas and principles he believed were good, right, and true. Before each appearance, he prayed these words, God, use me for your will. Always said the same thing. Use me for your will. And that is exactly what God did. When you think, that's exactly what he did. The more success Charlie had, and he was getting more and more successful, the more dangerous his mission became. On campuses all over the country, his quest for open dialogue was met with menacing hate. There were bomb threats, pulled fire alarms, and countless rage-filled radicals who tried to shout him down. It was nasty. I used to say, Charlie, this is nasty stuff you're doing. At one event, police had to build barricades to protect students from an angry mob of thugs. Many of these people, by the way, are paid a lot of money to do this. They're agitators. They're paid agitators. Remember that. When you see they all have the same beautifully printed sign, every sign is identical, comes out of a top-level print shop. That's not the signs that are made in somebody's basement. Those are paid for by very bad people, and hopefully we're going to be finding out through the DOJ who those people are. At another college, Antifa terrorists shattered windows, threw rocks, and tried to storm the building where Charlie was speaking. It was a really bad one. Often dozens of police officers were needed to prevent left-wing violence. And the violence comes largely from the left. You don't hear that from too many people, do you? And virtually every day for years before he was murdered, Charlie received these horrible death threats. People don't know. I used to talk to him about it. He said, I got some threats. He always felt that when they actually made the threat, they were not the ones to worry about. The ones to worry about were the ones that don't make the threats. I think.
And shout out to my man Daniel Castro. He says, nice to have them shut the fuck up for once. Deal with it. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
You know what I mean? He knew the risk, but he and I shared a certain motto, never back down and never, ever surrender. Just don't surrender, never back down. He believed in it so strongly. So strongly. And he's right. He's totally right. The radicals and their allies in the media, sometimes referred to, as my son said, the fake news media, tried to silence Charlie for a simple reason, because he was winning, and he was winning big. He was taking over college campuses, colleges that had, in theory, only very liberal, or as they like to say, progressive. I call them liberal, but they like to call themselves, because such a beautiful word, progressive. They're the opposite of progressive, if you think about it. But they were really nasty, and he would go into these colleges. All of a sudden, within 2 years, 3 years, they turned into bastions of conservatism. It was really quite amazing to see. They lied about him because they did not want you to listen to him or to learn from him, because what he was talking about and even preaching made so much sense. Everywhere he went, he won the debates, he won the hearts, he won the minds, and yes, he won the elections for people. He helped us, he helped other people. We won the biggest election in the history of our country, I believe. Charlie Kirk was without a doubt among the most influential figures in the most important election in the history of our country. The election of, that beautiful day, November 5th, 2024. Do you remember that day? It was 9 months ago. What a day that was.
Nah, that day was hilarious. Just watching all the Kamala Harris supporters and all that saying that, oh, you guys wasted your vote. We're going to win. It's going to be a blowout. And then they're the ones that turned out to be, experiencing the blowout. And then they were losing their minds for like a week straight. Oh, good times. Good times. I'm glad they finally got over that. Oh, wait. Nope. Never mind. Nope. They're still at it. My bad.
I mean, we had a pretty good day in the first one. And I must tell you, on the second one, we had a phenomenal day. But a lot of bad things happened. And now that's not even questioned. They cheated like dogs. But we got them back, didn't we, huh? Got them back. But we owe Charlie a profound and eternal debt of gratitude now. Just like Charlie and Erica made Turning Point hot, we are looking at a country that has the chance to attain a level like never before. Tariffs are making us rich again, richer than anybody ever thought was possible. And the only one challenging them are people that hate our country or foreign countries that are paying a price, because they did the same thing to us for years. They took advantage of us, but we're making money. We're becoming richer and richer, and we're taking care of our people better and better when we do that. And we can take care of other countries better and better, but we're doing unbelievably well. The tariffs have really been a hold. The election was big, but the tariffs, because of the election, came in. And remember, other nations do that to us. And Charlie understood that. He saw the money. He saw what was coming into our country, and we can use that for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all of these things that we fight so hard for. And that's exactly what's happening. The numbers are incredible. When the news finally came out on election night last November that the race was officially won, came out pretty early in the night. Charlie was live on camera. In that moment, he was overcome with emotion. I've never seen him like this. He was so happy.
All right. And well, before I go ahead and close out, because I do got to set up for the next show starting around 12, but I do want to spend a nice good 30 minutes, debunking some of the biggest lies told on Charlie Kirk. I think the biggest one was, of course, racism. And shout out to my man Amir. Was it Odom? Yes. Odom. Yeah, Amir Odom. Make sure to follow him, guys.
What if they're just people with opinions? What about that? Racism.
You are here in the wealthiest country ever, at an amazing university, with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you. And all you want to do is look backwards at everything that prevented you, when you are a glaring example that there is no systemic racism and you can actually achieve your wildest dreams.
Whoa, I never said that. Hey, I'm not the only black person who exists out there. There's so many people who this culture is affecting to this day.
Do you know black Americans are the richest black people on earth?
This culture, I would have to ask him. I'd be like, dog, I mean, whose culture? Because let's be real. It's our own culture that destroys us. It's our own culture that tells us to kill each other. It's our own culture that tells us to throw away our family. It's our own culture. So what are you talking about? I'd have to double down on him on that one.
What statistic
Africa.
is that? Okay,
Yep.
I need you to pull that up like right now.
You can.
Yeah, you could definitely look at that. We are the richest group of black people in the world. It would make sense seeing that we are in the richest country in the world.
Black Americans per capita on average.
Can you pull that up?
I'm hosting an event right now. I don't know what to tell you, but anyone can fact check me on this. So you cannot find a black majority country or any country where black people have significant representation where they are as wealthy, because even the poorest people in America are in the top 5%, the top 2% of wealth around the world. And so my whole belief is stop acting like you're a victim and start making better choices.
That's not racism.
Nope.
I am my ancestors' dream. I'm in the deep South, Tennessee, I don't know, 40, 60 feet, probably above tons of my ancestors that were slaves hundreds of years ago, living their dream right now.
Ain't that the truth?
I am my grandfather's dream, who could not speak openly like this. Who actually,
they weren't even crying like these. I mean, honestly, like our generation or the current generation of today, like they weren't crying like we were. Be honest with you, they got right down to it. They knew that there weren't going to be no handouts, no reparations, no nothing. They said, yo, we got to build our community and rely on each other. Now, somewhere along the way, you know, welfare came along and destroyed all that. And for some reason, we start depending on government money instead of working in our community. And you know whose fault is that? Black people. Like, why do we think it was a good idea to trust a government full of white people that we say that's the one that's oppressing us, but we're willing to take their money and take all their help and think that that's not going to come with oppression? Like, bro, really? But oh, it's the white man. It's white supremacy set. I mean, to be honest, some of y'all are just dumb enough to fall for it over and over again.
She dealt with the Jim Crow laws, who actually dealt with the real racism. I'm afforded every opportunity any white person is in this country right now. Are there economical differences? For sure. Are there some systemic things that we can get into? For sure. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't have it better than every other generation of Black people that have come before me in this nation. I have it better. We all have it better. We genuinely do. I don't understand how people can sit here and call Charlie Kirk a racist when even back in 2018, 1920, hosted events like the Young Black Leadership Summit, where he would take 200 to 300 young Black people all across the United States, invite them to DC, invite them to meet the president, invite them to the White House, invite them on this journey and
help them. I mean, here's the thing: you also help a lot of these Black conservatives out with their social media, help them get hot on TikTok and all that good stuff, Instagram. He was, literally, he was putting money in black people's pockets and putting them on as a political figure in the conservative movement. I mean, he was putting Black people on. I mean, how can you call a guy like that racist? If he was truly racist, he would reject every Black conservative, everyone.
Conference to learn more about the Black history in this nation from other Black people, to hear about stories that aren't taught in schools, to see a different side of our past as victors and not victims. You know, being a part of founding organizations like Blexit, where they are active in a ton of different states, in a ton of low-income Black neighborhoods, giving young Black kids.
Yep, the same low-income Black neighborhoods that Democrats ignore and let us suffer with high crime through gang violence. Yep, those same Black neighborhoods, the ones that the Dems ignore. Charlie Kirk was out there trying to add a community service to it, trying to establish some type of community there, or what was it called? Like, they're like a recreation center. We don't really got those in the hood, to be honest with you. Or maybe we'd actually have somewhere to go besides getting in trouble in the streets and running into abandoned houses and selling drugs and all that stupid stuff that we were, that I was doing back in the day. Maybe we had some type of conservative community like center or organization that I could have went to learn, I don't know, some godly things, learn about Christ, learn about economics and all that good stuff. That might have changed some things. I might not have had to go through so much, but I'm appreciative of it because I love how I grow through the years. But let's be honest, not everybody has that. Not everybody gets lucky like me. To be quite honest with you, I consider myself a lucky person because there's people who grew up exactly like me who are not in the position that I'm in. Actually, they're in way worse. They're actually not even free. But look at me. Here I am.
It's mentors, school supplies, rides, field trips, events, block parties. That man. Yep. But people just want to say, oh, he was.
And that's the reason why I'm lucky, because I had mentors. I had like father figures. And a lot of kids around me don't have that. And let's be real, no Democrat ever touched down in the hood, no Democrat ever touched down in the city to be like, yeah, well, we're going to create something that's going to be a positive for the Black community. All right, we're going to start being more positive with it. We're actually going to try to disband gangs. I don't know, create some type of Black militia to disperse gangs or something. I don't know, get the drugs up out the street. Out teach financial literacy. That might keep fathers in the house. Like, y'all could have did something way better. The fact that this white man, Charlie Kirk, came through and actually had more structure than anything that the Dems have proposed in the Black community, it's damn near crazy to me. It's like you would think the Dems would do better.
It's racist because he said this one thing. That's not how this works. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to say things. And also, you as a person watching this video, you're allowed to fact check everything for yourself. You're allowed to think deeper and think critical about the things that are being said. That's okay for you to do. And the things Charlie Kirk often talked about blew my mind, especially on the topic of race. Because that's someone.
And shout out Bruce Ego. He says, demons celebrate death and angels celebrate eternal life. And ain't that the truth? That said, enough of the blue hair, big glasses, nose bull ring. The nose bull ring. If you're past 30, stop it. I mean, you know what? Yeah, I actually know some young ladies that's damn near kicking about 35 doing that weird stuff. I'm like, come on now. Like, come on, you had your mid-20s to do this. Like, if you want to go radical liberal now, you might, I mean, trust me, the septum piercing and all that good stuff, ain't you, sis. Like, trust me, if you're like 30 plus doing that, please stop it. Just stop it. Get help.
One again who was in the streets marching with BLM, crying my eyes out because of the pain that I felt being a Black.
Like, you can dress like a grown-ass woman and be a part of the radical left. It's possible.
Black man in America and a gay man, double marginalized, double victimized, and going to these events and meeting these people and talking to these people and realizing, wow, actually, I don't have it that bad. You could have told me 10,000 Black people were being shot and killed by the police, unarmed. And most years, more people are being struck by lightning.
That's true.
Than Black unarmed men are being shot by the cops.
And if you want a better reference, look up a man called Roland Fryer. He's a Black Harvard professor who did a study on, police shootings. And he found out that Black people were less likely to get shot by the police than white people. That's just the undeniable facts. He crunched the numbers. He ran it back twice. He took it to his higher ups. They told him don't release it. He released it, and he got in a whole lot of trouble. So trust me, there's other people you can refer to, like my man Roland Fryer.
Man, Charlie Kirk was not a racist man. Affirmative action.
If you see a Black person in a position, or minority or whatever, the assumption is that person is not qualified. When literally, and you have to be qualified in order to even to get in that position.
Well, so let's take college admissions. So this is a great example. At Harvard, we learned because of new revealed documents that Black students were having test scores that were 30 to 35% lower than their white counterparts.
Okay. And so therefore, if you saw a Black kid at Harvard, it's a fact that they were not having the same test standards as their white counterparts. Still doesn't matter.
Or to be assumed.
He's got to get through the classes, do the tests, do all.
Yeah, no, it would be assumed that, this must be a DEI. That's why we have to kind of end affirmative action. That's why we ended affirmative action, and we should still end DEI, because it's kind of funny how they just took affirmative action and renamed it. But yeah, and that's the problem with DEI, though. It's patronizing. It's pretty much telling Black people that you'll never be able to score on our level, so we'll just let you in anyway, because Lord knows you'll never reach the white man or Asian man's level. I mean, like, bro, y'all really want to take that handout? Are you sure, Black community, you want to take that handout? You sure you just don't want to, better our schools? I don't know. Yeah, start actually caring about a Black education instead of leaving it up to the white people to give it out to us. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all do a whole lot of bitching about people that y'all want to depend on. I'm just saying.
Well,
they actually drop out at a greater rate too. But the point being is just the idea that they were there, number one, took a spot from an otherwise qualified.
Oh no, it took a spot from a qualified individual, and it also, I'm be honest with you, a lot of these guys fail out because they just weren't ready for it. Like, maybe they weren't ready for Harvard. Maybe they need to go a step lower. I don't know, just like a state university. Like I don't know, maybe you don't need to go to Harvard. Maybe you just need to go to Ohio State. Okay.
qualified individual that might be
That might be more appealing.
and they were not there on the same merits. So what we want is the same rules for everybody.
You're making the assumption that they're not qualified in order to get in. In order to even get there,
It's not
be
the assumption,
considered.
it's the data. So for example, it's literally at Harvard, you had kids with perfect SAT scores, perfect ACT scores that were white.
So that makes a degree from Harvard worthless then.
Well, like, you're exactly right. Yeah, actually, Harvard's degree is becoming more worthless because it's more race-based than merit-based. You're exactly right.
Yep. I mean, remember when they was trying to pump more women into STEM? Yeah, that was kind of like, that's another effort of DEI, is just trying to pump people in certain, I would say in certain professions that they're not normally seen in. And then the thing is, if you don't practice it, you're being racist. And it's just like, you sure you just want to let people come to this naturally? Let it naturally happen instead of trying to artificially pump women into STEM? You sure you just want to do it naturally? That's a way better. But hey, though, it was honestly, it was F American males. And well, honestly, the standards of that job. And, we'll just lower the standards, let some of these people in. And then when people start doubting I'm going to be honest, when people honestly start doubting their skills, it's because of DEI. If we never had DEI or even talked about it or even made it a thing, we'd be able to trust, well, I'll be real with you, I'd be able to trust a black pilot. I'll say it too. I want a white man with gray hair. I want that guy to be my pilot. I'm be honest with you. I trust the white man with the gray hair and like the salty look. It's like, be honest with you. That guy looks like he's more likely to be a good pilot. I'm not saying that if I see a black guy, I'm just going to assume that's a bad pilot. But if you told me, hey, you lined up two people in front of me and said, look, you got the black guy, you got this white guy, he wants to be your pilot, I'm going to choose the white guy. I'm sorry. That's just me, though.
In a nutshell. Oh, well, Charlie Kirk was against affirmative action. That means he's racist. Oh, there's tons of black people against affirmative action as well. I don't need you to lower my.
And here's the thing: if we never had affirmative action or DEI, I wouldn't choose like that, because then I'd be like, oh, well, we don't got this affirmative action or DEI BS. So I know for a fact that this black guy's here because he met the standard. Even if it was a transgender black guy, I would still be like, you know what? Because we don't got that DEI and affirmative BS, I trust that you have the skills. But with this, it kind of casts doubt on anybody of color who's in a high up position or a skilled position. And that's your fault, liberals.
My test scores because that's even more racist. I don't need you to lower my test scores to give me a chance to get into college. Don't you want to feel like you earned your spot? Don't you want to feel like you worked hard for something? Why would you want to get a handout? Why would you want to just be given, hey, you black, we're going to enter you into Harvard because you got a D. Even though these white people are getting A's, I know you're not capable of getting an A, and we need more blacks at our college. So we're just going to go ahead and accept you in, even though you have D's.
Yeah, I really want to take that.
Do you not find that disrespectful? Do you, if you're a black person watching this and you're
apparently we got to be a little bit more disrespectful with the joke, man. I mean, like, maybe I just got to get disrespectful with it. Like, could you just imagine, like, all right, look, Blackie, we understand that you'll never be as good as the white man. So yeah, don't worry, we'll let you in because we're tired of people calling us racist. So we're gonna let your black ass in, who can get up at the same scores. And trust me, we don't trust your black ass to do so. So we'll just let you in, pat you on the head, and don't worry, you'll fail out anyway. So we're just doing it for the hell of it. We're doing it for the good looks. We don't really expect you to do anything, but we'll let you in though. I mean, what does that make it a little bit more? I don't know. Does it hit harder? Does it hit different, guys? Now do you feel a little bit more riled up? And not that I'm trying to make you angry about it, but if you're black, I ain't gonna lie, you should be kind of pissed off. And you should be speaking out for, honestly, the black community, focusing on our education to the point where we don't need affirmative action or DEI. And they don't sit there and let us in when we score lower than the white man or the Asian man. No. I want to get in, or I want my kids to get in, or any black man or black woman to get in because they scored at the same damn level. That's the only time I want to see them in. And if that means there's going to be no black people on Harvard, so fucking be it. It is what it is. That's on us, and we need to improve our education as black people in the black community. That's on us. If we're not making those scores to get in there, we shouldn't be in there, and that's on us, and we need to fix it. Don't sit there and blame white people and call it racism. Blame us.
studying super hard and you get into Harvard, don't you want to feel like you got into Harvard because of all the work you've been putting in and not just the color of your skin? That's why a lot of people are against affirmative action. They don't want these handouts. They don't.
And shout out to my man Alex. He says, keep the message going and ignore the detractors. Hey, I appreciate it and I try. Sometimes what they say is it gets a little too ignorant. It's like, come on, man, you don't really believe that. But they really do. And it's kind of sad. But hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
Like that this is the thing. You're making the assumption, no, it's actually real stuff that has been going on. Real stuff, you guys. That is okay to call out. It is. So before people go shout from the rooftops, oh my gosh, this is horrible, this is racist. It's not. It's actually racist in reverse. I think some of these affirmative action things being put in place is actually racist. Critical race theory.
Let me tell. Okay, y'all can laugh, but until you have walked as a Black person on this campus, y'all truly don't understand.
CJ, come here. Really quick. I have a question. Come here. Go right there. Okay. So CJ, just really quick. You're a Black person. Are you hunted at the university?
You know, I don't feel hunted at this university, but I guess the difference between me and some people here is that I don't choose to be a victim, Charlie, which I think is the biggest problem we have here today are people who wake up every single day looking for a reason to be oppressed, looking for a reason to cry and make an excuse about why they're not in a position to go win. I don't see the color of my skin as a disability. I see it as simply an accessory that I couldn't control.
To be honest, I had to explain it to one of my homies. It's like, bro, one of the main reasons that you don't like being on college campus, you blame white people, is because, dog, you act hostile around white people. It's like, how you're gonna act hostile around these people, act all like they're after you, and you're gonna have a good time around them. And then the worst part is we're in a majority white college, so you're looking even crazier having this hostility towards white people. Now, eventually, they turned away towards it, but I mean, hey, when you come straight out the hood into an all-white school, I get it, but it's like, dog, you can't expect to have a good time around here or a good time anywhere if you're just going to be hostile towards people. It doesn't work like that. And then if you expect people to capitulate to your hostility, then you're just being a spoiled brat.
Black all my life. I've been Black today. I'm thriving here. I think that's a roll tide right there, right?
And so, CJ, let me ask you, CRT, racist?
It's not just racist. It's the exact iteration of white supremacy, just in reverse. I think it's important that we start teaching young people not to hate other people because of the color of their skin. We can teach Black people to be proud of who they are without telling white people they should be ashamed of who they are.
Thank you.
You know?
Amen.
It's like, here's the thing, though, and I hated this, that my own people did it, but we became Black supremacists. Like, we get mad at white supremacists, but there's a whole lot of Black supremacists in our community. There's literally people who think they're better than white people just because they're Black. Like, Black people are the best, master race. Like, we got people literally thinking like that in our community, but we want to sit here and talk about white supremacists when we literally got people who mimic the mindset of white supremacy. It's absolutely hypocritical. It's crazy. You know what? It's actually some of the Black liberals who have this Black supremacist mindset. If you listen to them, you hear it.
So,
scary.
Closing thoughts, CJ.
And shout out to Bruce Ego. He said, did Charlie carry a gun with him to debates? No, he used the ammo of the Holy Spirit, not to kill, but to save lives. Man, ain't that true? Shout out Bruce Ego. What can I say? He had a verbal AR with bullets doused in holy water. There you go.
Is this trying to divide the country?
It's not only trying to divide the country, it's trying to break apart the foundation upon which it was built. You know, people forget the words of MLK, Rosa Parks, all those people who fought so hard for us to be united country, where we didn't see the color of one's skin, but their character. This is about taking us away from the vision and the dream of Martin Luther King and just taking us to the dream of Kamala Harris. And I don't want to live that dream.
Amen. CJ, you're a great American. Give it up for CJ, everybody. So good.
That is my friend CJ Pearson. Shout out to CJ. Incredible video. That sums up really well how Charlie Kirk and a lot of other people felt about critical race theory. And it's fun. It's interesting, you know, that Black girl that started off the video. Well, if you were Black on this campus,
he's one of the best examples of. Bro,
we have to.
He's one of the best examples of honestly how I don't know why they always try to call conservatives racist when he's a Black gay conservative. He's a Black gay conservative on our side. I mean, when you look on the liberal side, who do you see mainly? I see guys that look like Brian Tyler, Destiny. I mean, come on, guys. Who's y'all best political pundits? Because it ain't black people, but y'all claim that y'all are, that you're the party who loves us the most. So you're the party who cares about us the most. But you don't got a lot of our faces speaking up for y'all values. I mean, we're nowhere near in the heavy hitters. At least the conservatives got Brendan Tatum? Officer Tatum? Yes, at least we got that guy out there. And I mean, hey, at least they got me somewhat. I'm like, what? Oh, just a little bit over 100K, but I'm still a black conservative on this side. I'm doing well. And I got other conservatives who embrace me who are white, black alike. How are they racist? I mean, if anything, we look on your side, I'm thinking y'all need to add a little bit more black people. Honestly, y'all need to practice DEI on your side, actually. It's kind of funny to say. You know what, Dems? I don't think y'all practice enough DEI when it comes to your political talking heads. I'm just saying, because y'all biggest ones are all... I'm gonna let y'all answer that one. I don't want to play too much into that. Shout out to my man Monty says Charlie Kirk lives forever, and ain't that the truth? And shout out, he's like, you're not a black gay conservative. Damn, damn fooled me. Oh, fuck you. He said yes, but this man is a gay black conservative. So shout out to Amir Odom.
Stop speaking on behalf of everybody. We do. Because that quick, there's another black person, another student at that university in that audience that said, I'm having a different experience than you. I love it here. I'm thriving here. Mindset matters a lot, you guys. And on the topic of critical race theory, we're allowed to teach black history. We're allowed to, it's American history. We're allowed to teach those things. I never understood this concept of critical race. You're focusing on race and Black History Month.
And shout out to my man Mons. He said, Joe Biden said you're not black. Man, I know, right? I didn't vote for him. So, well, actually, no, I voted for him the first time. I voted for Joe Biden the first time. It's just that I didn't vote for him the second time. So I guess I lost my black card after that. I mean, look, man, I had a good run with my black card, but I had to turn it in. Joe Biden said, hey, bro, if you ain't vote for me, you ain't black. And I was like, well, bro, let me just go ahead and reach into my wallet and hand you this black card. Because if that's the case, I don't need it. If that's the case.
No, we don't need it. Just incorporate a Black American and Black history into our nation's history and teach it all year round. I don't need a separate month to celebrate my race. I actually think it's racist to reduce my lineage and my family's American history to 1 month. It's just American history. And we can talk about it, we can teach about it without teaching Black people to be victims, that they're owed something from white people and have white people feel bad for being white because of what happened in the past. It's the past. I don't have to feel bad about it because things have changed. Again, in my ancestors' dream.
I wonder what we say to Africans that actually sold us. Like, I wonder what we say to them. Like, can we also place that same victimhood on them as well? No, we can't. They're going to tell us, well, look at you guys, because you guys got enslaved. You're pretty much the richest blacks ever. And I'm not saying that slavery was good. I'm just saying that the outcome of slavery worked out better for us than it, well, I'm going to be real with you. It worked out better for us. These guys didn't get enslaved and we're richer people than them. I mean, I'm not saying that it was a good thing. I'm just saying, though, in the long run, I'll be real with you. We're in a better position than our African brothers. And I love them, but we're in a better position than you guys. And we were the ones put through slavery. Actually, y'all the who sold us into slavery. So, hey, but it's kind of funny how they forget that part of history. They forgot where it all started from.
I'm afforded every right they wish they had. They can't even fathom the life I'm living right now. They can't. So on the topic of critical race theory and using that to call Charlie racist, kind reminder, there are tons of Black people who are against critical race theory too. So you're going to sit here in front of my face and all these other Black people's face and call them all racist and they're race traitors and they hate themselves? Or you're going to have critical mind. You're going to think hard about this and really think, damn, what are some other perspectives on critical race theory that must not be hearing? What do other Black people have to say about critical race theory? What was Charlie Kirk really saying about critical race theory? What was so hateful that people think, but then also so many other Black people loved? Look into it. Illegal immigration.
I don't like your t-shirt. I'm an immigrant. I don't understand why you would want to deport some of my friends and family who have been working hard in this country.
What's your name? Sorry.
I'm Claudio, sir.
Yeah, Claudio. And this is just a thought exercise, but it's very revealing. You are king.
Hold on.
and you find out that there are 30 million uninvited people in your country.
Oh, guys, and I just posted the call-in link, so go ahead and hit that call-in link if you are a member or if you've donated to the stream. I'd love to hear some of y'all voices. I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? I said I was gonna close that after this, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the next hour to you guys. So if you want to come up and have any words to share or anything like that, please.
What do you do with them?
I try to find the most humane way of sending them back to our country. But first of all, I want to say
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Hey.
What country did you emigrate from?
Are you gonna like discriminate?
We see it's like they don't even really know their arguments sometimes. It's like, bro, that's all right. What would you do? Try to send them home in the most humane way possible. Well, that's exactly what we're doing, buddy. You guys just don't believe in that we're doing it that way. And I would ask y'all, well, how would you do it? Because y'all say, oh, well, we need to figure out the immigration system. No. Oh, we need to expedite amnesty. No. We need to get these guys up out of here. Because the more people we let in, that's a strain on the economy. That's a strain on the job market. That's a strain on our resources. So we can't afford to take in that many people, guys. So they got to get up out of here. And we're doing our best. The most human way to do so. Okay, guys. And here's the thing. If Joe Biden did not let these guys go in all willy-nilly during his 4 years, we wouldn't have to do this to them. So if anything, I mean, y'all should honestly blame Biden, but you're not going to do that. So honestly, you should probably just avert your eyes while we get these immigrants out of here if you can't handle the sight of it. But it's going to happen, though, regardless of what you think. It's going to happen. Shout out to Bruce Ego. He says, my best memories were in Southfield, Michigan. 50-50 mix. I went out there and mixed beats with Baby. MSU football player. I didn't think race. Oh, okay. You spent out there and make beat with MSU. Well, okay. Well, dang, shout out. Well, we know you're not racist. I didn't mean. He's like, I went out there and mixed baby with. Oh, you said you didn't mean baby. Well, sure. Hey, at least you know you're not racist.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do the opposite, actually.
Not that I ever thought you were.
I'm Mexican.
But you came here legally, correct?
I did.
You followed the rules. The people that you know didn't follow the rules.
True.
So I divide America not into Hispanic and white, into rule follower and rule breaker.
Yeah.
And so when someone breaks our rules, there must be justice done.
You would think.
And the most humane way is you go back to your country of origin.
Some of my boys, like, they're being like persecuted, like back home, them and their families, like they're like in like drug related like wars and violence, and the only way out is if they escape and they break the American law. But that's
come on now. No. There's another way, but y'all just don't want to talk about that because it makes your people look bad. I mean, they could turn around and they can go, I'm gonna be real with you, take out their government. The Latin American companies that's being ran by the cartel, I'm telling y'all, yo, citizens of Latin America, if you're listening to me, take back your country. Take back your country from these people. Look, we'll even help you. Look, you can come over here. We'll give you the guns because we got all the guns here. And you can go over there and take care of the cartel and free your country. Make it a safer place where you guys don't got to leave it. There's another way instead of just violating our immigration laws. I mean, you could sit there and stand on business and, kick the cartel out your country. I mean, I want to say I'm surprised y'all didn't do that first. I think that y'all should at least took an L to the cartel, then come over here. At least tell us that you tried. Not the first thing you did was run.
the only way they're going to survive.
If that is correct, we have a special asylum status that they could seek legally at a port of entry, that they could go through a whole process.
But if they're being persecuted, wouldn't it be justified to cut the line?
No. If we all of a sudden say that if you have a lot of gang violence and issues, I mean, like we have a lot of gang violence and issues. Like, what are we talking about here?
True.
You have to draw the line. If your plane is going down, what do they tell you to do first? You put your mask on first. It's the same way as a country. We need to put our own oxygen mask on first, and then we can worry about helping other people.
That
man, ain't that the truth? And all right, here we got Misfit, Monty, and Maine. How you guys doing? Whoops.
What up? See you guys. God bless.
Hey. Yo, Monty, you still on the road?
Yeah. I'm just
I can hear you a little bit. Now. It's all good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How was traffic, Monty?
You know, man, that was a trick question. You know we're terrible. No, that was definitely. All right.
Go ahead.
Yo, Monty, you good?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. I was just making sure. All right, guys, let's get right back to it. Or do you guys got anything to say?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just listening.
Well, I'd like to say, hey, everybody. Thanks for watching S.E.T's show. Please be respectful in chat. We actually we don't want to time anybody out ever. We'd rather just be able to talk to each other.
Right.
Yeah. If you're an idiot, I'm timing you out, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We've been timing people out like crazy.
Yeah, some people were confused a timeout as a ban. So I got people emailing me like, why'd you ban me? You effing wah.
Oh,
and then, well, I think
Hey, give me their names. I'll ban them if they want to bitch about banning.
We can make that happen for you.
You can be banned for real instead of just 24 hours. But all right, guys, let's get back to it.
That's it. It's that simple. It's nothing race related. It's literally rule breakers and rule followers. We're talking about a man who threw Latino retreats, you guys. We're talking about someone that promoted so many different races and ethnicities, including Hispanics. Again, like the guy brought up, he said, okay, well, isn't it justified for them to cut the line because of how much heartbreak and all the things they're going through in Mexico? No. Because if that was the case, we take in the whole world. There's so much corruption in this world, you guys. It's not even funny. And if we were to
hold on. We don't need to take in the whole world. We don't need to take in the whole world. We can just take over the whole world.
I mean, yeah, that could always be something too. I mean, okay, Monty for world domination, but
I am president of the world.
I mean, it's almost the same thing.
I mean, hey, it's a lot better than just like, I don't know, bombing these guys out of a regime to get our own in there, and then it F's up the country even more. It's a lot easier just to make the whole world the United States of America. Okay,
but that's colonialism and imperialism, and that's bad.
No, I mean, I think it's great to uplift other countries and help them not fall into the same traps that we fell into.
To be honest, I think the real way to help these countries is one, we gotta take our foot off the neck of some of these countries, admittedly, and then we just gotta let them thrive on their own, let them make money off their own resources or their own natural resources, and just have our hands off them and let them just establish a government and trade. And a lot of these countries will work out, but there's us countries in Europe that kind of have our neck on some of these countries out here, like in the Middle East and Africa.
The United
Can I say something?
Good.
Bro, they just need to not have oil, and they won't get fucked with.
Well, it's about the video and the guy that was the Irish guy, and he was just saying a lot of people or wherever he was from, it's saying that like people are leaving from like countries where people are coming in and taking over, and it's war torn and like drugs and crime, and well, they're all coming here. So we have the same thing here. So it's like people are coming here and then they're complaining because all this crazy shit's going on, but then they want us to open our doors to everybody. There won't be a United States to run to if we let everybody just run it over. What do you people not understand? This is where people come, and they have to come legally so we know who they are. They have to assimilate because that's just part of the process. And if they don't want to, then they're becoming a part of the problem.
Now, Misfit, you're asking them to apply logic to a completely emotion-ridden moral hierarchy argument.
I'm sorry. I should have known better. Common sense is difficult. I understand. But I mean, just sometimes it's good to show the sun once in a while, just peek through the blind, see the truth.
Yeah. Hey, I agree. I definitely agree with that one. All right, guys, let's get back to it.
In the law, what do we become? The reason people want to come here in the first place is because of how hard, for the most part, America stands on business. For the most part, we follow the rules and we follow the laws. These countries that people are fleeing from, cartels, drugs, corrupt politicians, it's all lawless. But again, for the most part, America has some structure, and we have enough structure to where people want to come here.
I mean, we're not ran by gangs. The Bloods, the Crips, they don't run America. Okay, guys, thank God. But in some of these Latin countries, the cartels do run the government. Like, I could see why they would want to leave, because they're pretty much under tyranny. If anything, you could damn near call it a dictatorship. I'm be real with you, it's like a soft dictator. It's just they're not the ones sitting in the seat. They got somebody that they could pay to pretty much keep American at bay, make it seem like they have a democracy when they really don't. And let's be real, we can't really go in there and honestly act on crime on their land because they low-key got their government bought. So, be honest.
That's called a sovereign nation. You can't just go invade sovereign nations because they have gangs.
I know, right? And I get that, and I'm standing with you on that as well. But here's the problem, though. You guys got to fix that. Then you guys can't come to our country if you're not willing to fix y'all own. And like I said, I'm pretty sure Americans will be willing to help y'all. We'll give y'all the weapons and all that. Actually, some of y'all should, instead of trying to be illegal here, you should go ahead and take an AK-47. We'll send you back to Mexico, and y'all handle business. Sure, we'll even give you a helicopter if y'all want.
They're breaking in. That's how good and how many opportunities are afforded here. The same group of people saying, I hate America, down with America, this is horrible, it sucks here, are the same people defending the people breaking in to get here. If it's really that bad, why are you telling them not to come? This is the great country to be in right now. And we also can't sit here and hip and holler and cry, oh my gosh, our infrastructure sucks. Healthcare sucks. Food sucks. Drug crisis sucks. This list goes on of everything wrong with America and not address it and just keep funneling in all these different people and give them resources. Why are we
Yo, what's up?
The only country in the world where one half of it hates it but refuses to leave and wants more people to come.
Yeah, it's like holding a hamburger in your hand and saying, like, you know, I can't actually say I like this hamburger, and I really might not like it, even though it's juicy. It has a lot of taste to it, and it's high in protein, and I'm still going to eat it, but I can't say I like it.
All right, guys, keep it going.
Like, there's so much happening in our country. Why are we taking people who have broken the law, broken into this country, already broken the law, dude? They broke in the country, giving them monthly stipends, health insurance, places to live, when we all can go downtown in our own city and our own citizens are dealing with crap right now. At some point, when are we going to put America first and take care of ourselves? That's all that is. We're talking about legal immigration is fine. But illegal immigration? No, we can't have that. Oh, well, the ICE raids or inhumane, like these people, they're ripping people from their families. If I'm driving drunk with kids in the back seat, I'm being taken away from my kids. So I broke the law.
I mean, if I drive drunk and get involved in a hit and run, I'm being separated from my family for some years. I mean,
so this is completely off topic, but I just wanted to say, so I was at the funeral today for Kirk, and some protesters showed up, like 3 of them, like all 3, and there was this like cordoned off area for them to stand in, right? And there weren't any trash cans or anything, so anybody that brought in like water bottles or coffees or anything, basically were told to leave it right where they were standing and not bring it in, because you can't bring anything in. So they fucking cleaned up all the garbage out of the parking lot that we were all standing in, and then dumped it fucking like damn near right on top of the protesters. The city did.
Hey, yo, that's all right.
No.
That's a bit that's a bit much, but it is funny as hell, though. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, well, you wanted to be protesters.
That's kind of like that country where they took all the shit spreaders in and sprayed all the buildings.
It's like,
as a parent, breaking the law with my children is incredibly irresponsible, no matter how much violence I'm fleeing. Come in the right way. That's all anyone is trying to say. And the ample and thousands of other Hispanic people who back Charlie Kirk on those statements. The man's anti-immigration and so racist. No, he is not. Abortion.
Everybody, do me a favor. Please be respectful, okay?
Before we begin, everybody be respectful. So we see what this person looks like, and you would think, oh, they're going to get, beat by MAGA people and so judged and harassed. And no, it actually turns out to be a very productive and nice, calming debate.
Because, like I said, that's why I always say Charlie Kirk nicer than me, because if I ain't gonna lie, if she came in front of me with the green hair, overweight, crazy amount of makeup on, with the tie-dye shirt, rainbow tie-dye shirt, I'm be honest with you, I'm not that nice of a guy. I try to be, I work on it every day, but she'd have definitely got grilled. Like
Hey.
Charlie, I think, was one of the best of us. He had the compassion to just,
Yes.
no matter what they brought to him, he found the words to say, and that was such a blessing.
They martyred the nice guy.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I've heard somebody suggest, what were you guys thinking, taking out the negotiator?
I'm gonna be real with you. She looks like the Grinch abusive wife, to be quite honest. See, it's like I'm not, but Charlie Kirk would have called her a child of God, and y'all took that man out. Now you got to deal with guys like me. Like, see,
not even debate, just conversation. But this is who they got rid of. The man that starts off a college debate. Everyone be respectful.
Hello. So I have a few leading questions before my main one. Because I have to be honest, I don't really know that much about you. So would you say that you're very...
I love this interaction so much because I applaud this woman that instead of going to her friend groups, she went to Charlie. She saw this event, stood in line at that event, and waited to ask a question because she wanted to go right to the source. Amazing.
Very religious.
I am religious. However,
I mean, that is commendable. A lot of people won't even listen to the 1 hour clip of this man, or not a 1 hour clip, but the whole 1 hour event. But, they'll take a 30-second clip and take that as truth.
Every one of my political positions is defensible from a non-religious perspective.
Okay, great. So I was under the impression that your beliefs on abortion were stemming from your religious beliefs.
Well, at the core, that is correct, but I can get that it is defensible from using reason and prudence, as I have done the last couple of
Cool. So you're not trying to illegalize abortion based on the Bible.
Well, no, not based on the Bible. My personal conviction comes from the Bible. I want to make abortion illegal because it is the only applicable extension of laws and standards we already have in the West. Correct.
I'm sorry, can you maybe rephrase that?
Eliminating abortion is the only logical step while we apply the standard we already have in this country to unborn life. So we have murder laws.
Yes.
Therefore, murder laws should apply to unborn life as it does to born life.
Okay. So again, reiterating, you're not trying to instate laws based on Christian beliefs because that would be unconstitutional, right?
Well, not again, sort of, but no, I am not using scripture to defend my beliefs. However, my personal convictions start with scripture, but the political views that we're talking about here are all defensible using reason and Western tradition.
2 points to this, because abortion argument isn't always about religion or God. There's a lot of agnostic people and atheist people who also do not like abortion for the very simple reason that nothing's consistent. You can have a pregnant woman driving to the abortion clinic to get rid of a baby and it's fine. But that same scenario, if she gets T-boned and killed, the person driving will get charged for double homicide. Like, how come this mom with the life inside of her can go to the clinic, get rid of it? It's fine. But if someone killed her, it's double homicide because there's two people. How come it's considered a separate person sometimes, but not? It's like when you have someone at 7 months getting an abortion, boom, it's fine. But if you have 7 months, have the baby, and they kill that baby, that's murder, and the mom's going to jail. It's just strange. Nothing is consistent.
What's crazy,
whole
Seth?
Argument's a separate video.
What's up?
There is a man. Damn, dude. There's a man in, I think it's Illinois, that's getting charged with murder for giving his girlfriend abortion pills.
Damn. Well, and wait, where? Where's
I
this
believe
at?
it. I believe it's Illinois. You'd have to look it up. Just
All right.
he was slipping her Plan Bs, and she didn't know it, and got charged with murder.
Okay, now that's valid. That's valid. Actually, that's pretty valid. That's wreck. I mean, like, I ain't gonna lie. If I heard one of my friends did that, I have to punch him. Like, well, you did what? You basically roofied a girl. You basically roofied a girl's baby to death. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I got him here.
But off the bat, I can tell you there's two sides that are just going at it from two completely different angles. There's a side that's like, well, it's the mother's body. And there's people down here saying, well, it's the baby's body. And that's the big difference that, we see happening. But again, the abortion side, that conversation, that debate, it's a whole that can go on for hours if we wanted it to.
So, great. That's all I needed to know, that you weren't trying to instate laws based on Christian beliefs, because I would not be able to support anything that was so blatantly unconstitutional. But thank you for clarifying that for me. I had a whole thing ready, but I guess that wasn't necessary. Thank you so much.
Well, first of all, just tell me more about how you view politics, or what. Is that okay? Or if not, like, and you feel free to walk away. I'm not here.
Maybe not in this crowd.
That's okay. Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Archer.
Archer, thank you for coming up, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for clarifying.
And let me just say one last thing. I could tell you probably have a negative impression of Christianity, maybe. I hope one day we can earn back your support to making Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior. I'm sorry if the church has failed you in that way. Because
all liberals kind of have a problem with Christianity, either because they're gay and Christianity rejects their lifestyle, or I don't know, for some other reason. Maybe they just don't believe the book straight out. But most of the time, it's because Christianity disagrees with their lifestyle. So hey, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna give. I don't really fault people for that, because people are gonna reject what rejects them.
There's also, technology is coming about, a lot of science and stuff. And, it's really good to incorporate science, but you can't forget morals.
Oh, wow. Oh, no, my bad. Apparently, guys, my comments are being spammed.
What?
Yeah, my comments are being spammed by the same person on different videos, and I keep getting the update on it. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. Apparently one of you guys deleted him out the chat, and now he's taking his wrath out in the comments. So whoever deleted that guy, I appreciate you. I truly do.
Hey, I'll just go ban him off of your channel.
Man, please, because that's ridiculous. Like, he's really that upset about getting kicked off to the point where you're just being like, this channel is just all right wing. They don't let nobody else disagree. I'm like, no, we do. It's just that y'all want to disagree and be able to do it disrespectfully and insulting, and we're not going to allow that.
Bad timing. We usually are a lot more lenient, but today,
and the timing is absolutely. You're right. Timing is absolutely terrible. I'm like, we're over here, we're trying to mourn Charlie Kirk, and you guys are coming in with this disrespectful rhetoric. It's like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, would you just go kicking in would you go into a funeral, kick in the door, and start talking ish about the person in the casket? No, you wouldn't. But that's exactly what you guys pretty much did in here.
They're foul. Just absolutely foul.
Man. But all right, guys. I did want to bring this up because something went down in Nepal that was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting what went down there, and we're going to get into it. And then after that, we're going to close out, or then we're going to head into the next show, which we're going to get a little bit more political in.
We're here to protest because our youth and friends are being killed.
He's
we
gone.
are here to see that justice is done.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone.
Friends.
I found him.
Gotcha.
Are being killed. We are here to see that justice is done and the present regime is ousted. These words, spoken by a protester to the news outlet DW, perfectly captured the mood in Nepal, where since Monday, the 8th of September, young people have taken to the streets to demand change. What began as localized protests in Kathmandu's Matagar neighborhood quickly swelled, drawing in hundreds of thousands. By Tuesday, the city looked like a war zone. Haphazardly erected barricades, fires across major government installations, and the bullet-riddled bodies of protesters lying dead in the streets. The shockwaves have shaken the Nepalese government to its core. Prime Minister Khadga Sharma Oli resigned amid speculation that he was looking to flee to Dubai, and the country's political parties are scrambling to cobble together enough support to form the next government. As the remnants of the government try to navigate this crisis, the nation remains on edge, with protesters insisting that they won't accept anything short of sweeping political reforms. So, what pushed Nepal to the brink, and where might things go next? Lighting the match. All right, before we dive in, just a little bit of housekeeping, as we always have to do. All information in this video is up to date at the time of recording, noon 30, on Thursday, Central European time. So if you're wondering why we didn't cover whatever major thing happened after that cutoff point, well, that's because our crystal ball is malfunctioning. I apologize. It's also not real. I wish it was real. With that out of the way, let's answer the first of our major questions. How did we end up in this mess? I mean, how did Nepal end up in this mess? To answer that question, you need to know a very key fact about Nepal, and that's that it is oh so staggeringly corrupt. Transparency International ranks Nepal 107th out of 180 countries in its Corruption Perception Index. That's far ahead of Russia, but right alongside Brazil and Serbia, places with the entire Wikipedia pages on graft. It's not a good thing if your country's got one of those, is it? Nepalese youth, angry at the decades of corruption and the government's laughable attempts at stopping it, took to social media using the hashtag #NepoKids and #NepoBabies to criticize the children and families of influential politicians who they saw as the main beneficiaries of the graft. Now, if you're not chronically online, what all that's like, you might not be familiar with the term Nepo Baby. It originated in Hollywood as shorthand for kids whose careers were propelled more by their famous last names than their talent. Nepal co-opted the phrase, using it to juxtapose the stark differences between the lives of ordinary people and the children of the elite. The Times of London reported that Sagat Thapa, the son of politician Bindu Thapa, was one of the main targets of the hashtags. A picture of him posing in front of a Christmas tree made of over 30 luxury gift boxes from brands like Cartier, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci went viral. It was captioned, while ordinary Nepalese send remittances from abroad to survive, Nepo babies build Christmas trees with stolen taxpayer money. Apparently taxpayer money that doesn't buy taste. The caption reveals another crucial aspect of Nepal's economic reality, the country's heavy reliance on money that workers abroad send back home. The scarcity of jobs has driven millions of young people to seek work in other countries. In Hong Kong, they power the electronics recycling industry, while in the United States, they form the fastest growing community of Asian Americans. In 2024, according to the New York Times, they sent back $11 billion, which accounts for a staggering, wait for it, 26% of the entirety of Nepal's economy. So how did the Nepalese government react to all of this corruption-related anger? Well, in a perfect world, we'd like to tell you that they went on a journey of introspection, reduced the number of ostentatious social media posts, and embarked on fixing the country's economy so that people were less reliant on remittances. Unfortunately, though, we live in the world where none of that happens. Instead, the government chose to ban social media, as if stopping people from posting about corruption would magically fix corruption. And this was, and we really cannot emphasize this enough, it was a really bad idea. Analysis from digital advisory firm KPUSA found that at the start of 2025, there were 14.3 million active social media user identities in Nepal. This is equivalent to about half of the country's population. And for those people, the internet, it's more than just memes, it's a lifeline. Quoting Dr. Nayana Prakash, a research fellow at Chatham House, there's been a sort of trivializing of what social media can mean to young people, both in this protest and across the world. Social media isn't just a way that we chat to our friends. It's a way that we feel connected to any kind of network in society, both locally and globally. In Nepal particularly, social media has become an important tool for the younger tech-savvy generation to find jobs and run businesses. For some, being on social media itself was a job. It's not a job. And there was a few fears that a ban would stop Facebook from launching content monetization in the country, something that does sound trivial until you realize that some people's future livelihoods hinged on it. I am so aware. Now, to be fair to the Nepalese government, this wasn't a blanket ban on social media. There were steps companies were meant to take, like registering with the government and appointing a local liaison officer to handle complaints that would exempt them. TikTok did exactly that, as did Viber, Nimbuzz, and Popo Live. So, simply calling it a social media ban strips away a lot of the nuance. Now, we should also be careful to give the government side here. From their perspective, they weren't trying to be a bunch of old men shaking their fists at those darn kids and their pesky phones. They were trying to limit the spread of misinformation and ensure that both the platforms and the users were responsible for the content that was produced. That being said, they gave social media companies a mere week to comply with the new rules. And then the shutdown started. Shutdowns that felt to Gen Zers like a collective punishment. And, well, collective punishments tend to breed collective anger. The protests. From the outside looking in, it's really tempting to view the protests in Nepal as simply an outburst of anger at the social media ban. However, that is really missing the wider point. Speaking exclusively to Warfronts, Dr. Caroline Mose, a scholar and governance expert, opined that while the social media ban was the trigger, the gun was paid for and loaded by state corruption. It's a point that the youth have emphasized. Eugene Arajmdari, a 24-year-old student, told the AFP, "We were triggered by the social media ban, but that is not the only reason we are gathered here. We are protesting against corruption that has been institutionalized in Nepal." On the first day, the protesters initially gathered in Kathmandu around Meghgar Mandala, a monument built to showcase Nepalese culture. It's about a kilometer from Parliament. The first few hours were peaceful, with protesters, some of them school children, still in their uniforms, marching, chanting, and singing. Media outlet The Statesman reported that some of them were carrying a flag from the anime One Piece.
What the heck? Wait, when did One Piece come synonymous with, government revolt? Like, whoa. This is surprising. Huh, who knew an anime from when I was like, a kid would be relevant today, like this relevant?
Scenes reminiscent of the recent Indonesian protests. The demonstrations, however, soon moved closer to Parliament, and some protesters climbed over the wall, attempting to breach the building. That's when, and we'll use a technical term here, all hell broke loose. An ambulance was set on fire, and riot police were pelted with stones. Police responded with water cannons, tear gas, and even live ammunition. The government imposed a curfew on New Baneshwar, the largest residential neighborhood in Kathmandu, but this did little to deter the protesters, who were enraged by the violent crackdown. By the end of the day, at least 19 people were dead and more than 300 were injured. In the wake of this carnage, political parties such as the Nepali Congress, part of Prime Minister Ali's ruling coalition, and the Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist Centre, the country's main opposition party, issued statements calling for accountability. That a member of the ruling coalition would issue such a statement signaled to regional observers that it was a question of when, not if, the Prime Minister resigned. Ali's coalition was held together by broken promises and fragile bargains, and the protests tore right through it. After an emergency cabinet meeting, during which Home Minister Ramesh Lakhak resigned, Prime Minister Ali issued a statement blaming the violence on rogue elements that had infiltrated the protests. He further clarified that the government was not opposed to the demands of the youth and announced the end of the social media ban. But by now it was too late. Young Nepalese were lying dead in the streets. An already pissed-off generation now had reason to hate their government even more. With that in mind, what happened next seems almost inevitable. On Tuesday, demonstrators poured back into the streets. Unlike on Monday, this time things were violent from the outset. Protesters set fire to tires, threw stones at police in riot gear, and chased them through the narrow streets of Kathmandu. Catastrophic scenes unfolded as protesters burned down government buildings, including Parliament and the Supreme Court. Further, police stations and the houses of politicians were also targeted. Protesters then descended on Tribhuvan International Airport, where some politicians had been evacuated to stop them from leaving the country. Some took advantage of the chaos to attack jails across the nation, triggering a mass jailbreak. Nepalese police estimate that more than 13,000 inmates escaped. Rabi Lemachane, a controversial figure who briefly served as deputy prime minister, was among them. As the violence escalated, the prime minister resigned, fleeing to the Shiapuri barracks. His cabinet, though, they were not so lucky. In a video that's since gone viral, the nation's finance minister, Bishnu Prasad Paudel, can be seen running through the streets of Kathmandu with scores of people behind him. A young man kicks the minister down, sending him crashing into a wall. The minister quickly gets back up and continues running, and the video cuts off. Just one more time, that's the nation's finance minister. Subsequent videos show that he was caught, stripped naked, and beaten by angry protesters.
And I seen the video on X. They made that man walk in the river naked while whooping his ass. It was like wild to see.
Violence wasn't limited to the current government officials either. In Dalu, a suburb of Kathmandu, a mob burned down the house of former Prime Minister Jala Nath Kanal, killing his wife, who was trapped inside. In this way, the Nepalese protests went far beyond those seen in Indonesia. Their politicians' homes were trashed, but no one was lynched. No one's family members were burned alive. So perhaps it should be no surprise that the Nepalese crackdown was far harsher. Realizing the police could not maintain peace, President Ramchandra Patel, who holds a mostly ceremonial role within the country's parliament system, deployed the army. Within hours, a scene of uneasy calm had returned to Kathmandu, bar a few isolated incidents of looting. By Wednesday morning, even these pockets of disorder had been snuffed out, leaving the capital tense but quiet, and leaving much of the country asking, well, what comes next? What's next for Nepal? Whenever soldiers march into the streets during political crises, a familiar anxiety grips the hearts of most nations. Is this the prelude to a coup? And Nepal was certainly no different. As armored vehicles rolled through Kathmandu, rumors of a military takeover spread like wildfire. Brigadier General Raja Ram Basnet, the Nepalese army's spokesperson, was quick to dismiss these rumors. Speaking to Republic TV, he asserted that the army was not taking over, rather they were acting within the bounds of the constitution to normalize the situation and restore calm. Despite those assurances, skepticism still lingers. Public policy analyst Bishnu Rajapreti told Al Jazeera that although the president was nominally in charge, his lack of credibility among Gen Z protesters meant that the army was the nation's de facto power. So, if the military's not taking over, who actually is? Well, inside Nepal, much of the debate around this question is happening on social messaging platform Discord, ironically, one of the apps that the government attempted to ban. Now, our team was able to gain access to one of the Discord servers that these conversations...
And they were trying to ban Discord in that country, and it was trying to stop a certain speech from spreading around. And I actually got the speech. I played it a good amount of times, but I'll play it one more time just for reference.
Our hard work, our contribution, but what are we doing? We are bounded by the chains of unemployment, being abroad in search of opportunities. We are trapped by the selfish games of political parties. Corruption has woven a web that is extinguishing the light of our futures. Youth, rise! We are the torch bearers of change. If we do not raise our voices, who will? If we do not raise our voices, who will? If we do not build this nation, who will? We are the fire that will burn away the darkness. We are the storm that will sweep away injustice and bring prosperity. Our heart.
And they banned that because, well, I mean, look at the results of that young man's speech. Oh man, I mean, hey, he's a good speaker.
Things were happening.
And I believe that's like one of their I think he's like a valedictorian at a school, and this was like I think it was like a speech he did at his school.
And we saw in real time the attempts at consensus building. From these talks, one name rose to the top of the list: former Chief Justice Sushila Karki. One of Nepal's preeminent jurists, Karki has developed a reputation as an honest defender of the rule of law. She endeared herself to the protesters by marching alongside them and calling out the killing of protesters. However, she does face a major hurdle. According to Yograj Lamachane, an assistant professor at Nepal's Pokhara University, under the current constitutional framework, the next prime minister, even an interim one, needs to come from current members of parliament. It's the same hurdle that faces another popular option, Balendra Shah, the mayor of Kathmandu, and perhaps the most influential political figure in Nepal at the moment. Balin, as he is more popularly known, has publicly endorsed Karki and called for the president to dissolve parliament. The dissolution of parliament and holding new elections are among the core demands of the protesters, who, in the words of one person we spoke to, view the entire institution as unsalvageable. Other demands include the introduction of term limits for the Prime Minister, who, under the current constitution, can serve an indefinite number of 5-year terms, and a reduced term for Parliament from 5 years down to 4. Some protesters have also suggested introducing a mechanism for the direct election of the Prime Minister. This would end the current system, where voters elect members of Parliament, who then select a Prime Minister from within their ranks. If these demands are met, they could pave the way for Sushila Karki to become the nation's first female Prime Minister. However, they might also pave the way for a controversial figure to make a comeback. In the previous chapter, we introduced Rabi Lashamane, the former deputy prime minister who escaped jail during the protests. He initially rose to power as a populist, an anti-corruption figure, but he later became mired in several corruption scandals. Despite this, he retained a significant base of support that has fronted him as a possible pick for interim prime minister. Supporters point to his long career in governance and past anti-corruption stances as evidence that he has what it takes to lead. Yet for all his support, Lamachane's chances of becoming prime minister are basically zero. Beyond the controversies that make him unpalatable to the youth, his very escape from prison has raised constitutional, ethical, and legal questions. Elevating him risks undermining the legitimacy of any transitional government and the protests as a whole. In the background of these debates, some Nepalese are discussing a more dramatic possibility: the return of the king. Isn't that a Lord of the Rings movie?
Now come the days of the king.
Former monarch Gyanendra Shah, who was deposed in 2008 when Nepal became a republic, has retained a loyal following. In early March, more than 10,000 supporters gathered near the main entrance to Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport to welcome the king after a trip to western Nepal. Now, with the government reeling from the shock of the protests, the monarchists are trying to push the narrative that the king is the only one who can stabilize the country. Regardless of who becomes the next leader of Nepal, one thing is absolutely clear. They will have to shoulder not just the hopes of the protesters, but also the weight of a broken system. And if they fail, the protesters have proven more than capable of holding them accountable. Zooming out. So, stepping away from Nepal for a moment, we can see that these protests are not a unique phenomenon. In fact, what unfolded in Kathmandu echoes similar movements in the Philippines, Kenya, and Indonesia. In Manila, young Filipinos marched against corruption. In Nairobi, Kenya's Gen Z marched against a punitive finance bill, forcing the government to withdraw it. And in Jakarta, students flooded the streets to oppose exorbitant perks for MPs amidst a cost of living crisis. These pink protests, as people have taken to call them, share the same DNA. Young, educated, digitally savvy citizens disillusioned by what they see as systems that exist only to serve the elites. And it's not a problem that is limited to these countries. Across much of the global south, nations are having to reckon with a surging population of young people who have access to the internet and have learned from countries like Nepal that governments aren't invincible. So what happens next? If nothing changes, if the elites keep looting while the people continue to suffer, then the next wave of pink protests is all but guaranteed. Another wave of unrest that threatens to be even more spectacular than that seen in the summer of this year.
All right. And one of the reasons I played that video is because, well, I kind of see that echoing through our, younger generation. You know, they're starting to figure out more about the government corruption, understanding how government works and all that good stuff, understanding our geopolitics. And you know what? I hope to God it doesn't push us to where Nepal's at, but I can see it happening if, our politicians don't straighten up anytime soon. Like, trust me, the whole liberal and conservative divide, only lasted so long until we're both looking at you. Talking to the politicians, corporate elites. You can only make the American people's lives so bad before you just flip the whole government on its head. And this is why I never is really too afraid of where the American people are going. Because we have the Constitution that tells us that if our government acts up in any way, we have the right to dethrone these guys or take them out of office. Like,
it's actually our job to make sure that we take them out if they become tyrannical. That's
exactly. It's in the First Amendment, and it's by I forget what it is. When you take out the piece of paper and get all the signatures.
Look, we got the right to militia and all that good stuff. That's why I'm never truly worried on where this country is going to be going. Because I know that the American people on the right and the left, we all share the value of, hey, if it gets too crazy, we will turn this government around. And it's going to be up to us. So that's why I always like to have the middle ground with the liberals. Because, we can both agree that, hey, if there's too much corruption to the point where our youth is like, hey, we don't got no future, then we got to do what we got to do.
We have a lot more people than Nepal to take care of.
Exactly.
That's, I don't know if you guys watched, there's a viral video. It's had like 28 million views where this guy landed there and he was just there to check out Nepal and he videoed the whole thing. And he's just walking around just like, I can't believe what I'm witnessing, because it just went from the everyday protests and the shit that they're going through over there to actually getting in and just burning parliament. And it's, I can't imagine, like the video is saying, like people are just wondering what's next. And I often think about that about our country. Like what would be next after that? That would be,
it would be a whole discussion on, all right, so where does leadership is now after we got out all of Congress, president gone, everybody else gone, because we found out, like, let's just say hypothetically that, the whole government's corrupt. We got to take them out. Then what?
Right.
Well, I think the first people that would step in are the United Nations, but we'd also
Can't trust them.
China and India and Israel and everybody else trying to get some kind of stronghold of power.
Yeah, that would probably be the work. Yeah, that would probably be the next. Hey, go ahead, Cuban. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. That would be terrifying. Because granted, it is a shit show here, but at least it's not there.
Yeah, it's not that bad to where like literally they're like we're not literally trying to. Here's the thing: That's literally what they called January 6th. That's basically an insurrection. They went in that man's house looking to kill the parliament members, financial ministers, and they did the job.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they went into that complex and set absolutely everything on fire. Everything.
And here's the thing: I don't even feel sorry for those parliament members. They know what they did.
Oh yes, they
know.
do.
I mean, they
That's
know
why
what
that man was running. He knew nobody was coming to save him.
Exactly. He knew what he did.
And it's a
here's the
shame.
thing.
I mean,
Like-
again, I don't wish ill on anybody like that, but it's the people were driven to the point where enough was enough. They have to stand up for themselves.
Because here's the thing, like I said, they said it like perfectly. The corporate elites are ready to sell their life down, I mean, literally sell their future down the river. Y'all was basically gonna be slaves to y'all politicians and whatever corporate elitists they're beholden to, and they didn't want to go. And here's the thing: if America ever gets too close to that, I have the confidence in my countrymen, liberal or conservative, that we'll band together and take that challenge on if needed.
I certainly hope so. Because right now they have it so divided that it's and that's exactly why they're dividing us the way that they are. That's why
I have hope that this Charlie Kirk assassination is going to separate the left from the radicals to the sensible ones.
I pray to God.
I believe it's absolutely the turning point where so many people, even, I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but Shoe on Head, even she is saying these people are sick. And she's she's self-proclaimed left. And she's saying these people are sick.
Jeffree Star is calling people out on TikTok. I mean, it's and they still, like, you guys saw the chat tonight. I mean, we were deleting and kicking it like as soon as they would show up, and they just keep coming.
I thought it was bad for you guys when Bill Maher got red pilled, but you guys just, I mean, it's game over.
That's what I'm saying. It's like there's no, and here's, like I said, this is gonna separate the left. There's people on the left who's looking at these guys like, yo, this is disturbing. I didn't know y'all guys hated the MAGA that much. I thought we just thought they were dumb. I didn't think we wanted them to die. Okay, like there's some guys on the left that's literally thinking that right now, and this is gonna separate them. And we could work with those guys. We could work with the moderate left, but we cannot work with the radical left. They've already let us know what it is, and we gotta accept that. And it hurts our heart because, well, they're our fellow Americans. But it is what it is.
They're currently online still calling out the same hate. They've already let us know what they want for us. So
a lot of them have doubled down since Charlie. Like,
and they try and play it off like it's some kind of talking point where we're like, no, y'all want us not around.
No, to be honest, they're trying to get Kimmeled. They're trying to get suspended or kicked off social media platform like Kimmel, and then they're going to cry about free speech, even though they weren't saying nothing, for the past 4 years. Biden was kicking people, not Biden, but Biden was convincing the social media platforms to kick people off for free speech.
How many?
And it's kind of funny how people sit here talking about Kimmel and they won't sit there and talk about all the YouTube creators that were kicked off for not agreeing with what the Biden administration was pushing. But go ahead.
Tim Pool was beating Kimmel's ratings every night, so it really wasn't a big loss for them to lose him as a person on TV, because for that company he was losing ratings. So I mean,
that's
they
not
can cry
really
about it all they want. I guess it just shows how petty they are, because they want us to care now, after they've cheered for 10 to 12 years watching people being canceled on our side and us having to change words that we use because they're offensive. Like, are you kidding? Like, you try and talk on TikTok and it's like speaking in code, and it's all
that's why I can't do TikTok lives too well, because I just don't speak in code. I'm too used to being on YouTube.
It's tough, boy, but it took me a while, but yeah, they converted me.
I'm glad you got it down. I'm still trying. But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it off here. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video on the next stream. So I'll be right back up, guys. In the meantime, we're going to close out to this Charlie Kirk video in remembrance of my man. We started off in remembrance, so we're going to end on it. So we're going to go ahead and end it right here, guys. Hey, man, shout out to you guys for coming on. My man Monty came on, Misfit, and Maine. And, guys, make sure to follow Misfit Supervisor on YouTube. She also streams on Favorite, so check her out. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and
God bless everybody.
Yep. God bless, guys. We'll go ahead and end here after this one.
I'm just flesh and bone, but more importantly, I'm a soul.
White chocolate is here. Hello, everybody. Okay, this brother got more soul than a lot of people running around here acting like they brothers.
And that soul is accountable to one being. I mean, I've had an unbelievably blessed life. Been doing this now, it'll be 12 years. I mean, I've been all across the world. I've met with world leaders. I've flown in Air Force One, got to know a president. Hopefully he becomes president again. We get, I have an amazing family, podcast, TPUSA, all that stuff. And so you experience that and you're like, what actually matters? What matters is your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your family, your kids, and maybe a close collection of friends, and your relationship with the truth.
Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't, but let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is SET and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor.